worried about getting everybody else. Like,
Yeah,
Then
Our
he
world.
recuses himself. I had a question.
Yes,
on one of the
yes.
graphs. So he comes in and then he says, I'm
Yeah.
leaving.
Are you,
Rich,
are you gonna take your place, but at the time,
the minutes.
the beginning of the meeting, or then?
If you know, I probably should. All right.
Legally, you should.
I don't know whether,
yes, I will do so.
Rich, this came in as correspondence to us.
Thank you.
Ready to go, Bill.
Here we go.
there we go. This is a continuation of the public hearing regarding the outdoor adventure zone application submitted by the Tyrell Development Company. The purpose of the public hearing is to permit the planning board to hear the public's comment regarding the application and specifically to hear public comments on the parking study and the parking peer review study. These two documents were posted to the town website following the public hearing on November 24th. The planning board members and the applicant are here to listen. Neither will participate in dialogue with the public. Public hearings are recorded. The planning board will review the public comments as part of its deliberation and fact finding. Public comments are an important part of the application review process. Community input helps the board better understand citizen concerns. The planning board has set another date, time, and place, December 16 at 6 p.m. in this town meeting room to hear public comments on the parking study and the parking study peer review for those who could not attend this meeting at 8:30 a.m. At the conclusion of the public comment hearing on December 16th, the planning board will discuss and determine whether it has sufficient information to close the public hearing and to begin deliberations. If the board votes in favor of closing the public hearing at that time, the board's deliberation will automatically begin. Once deliberation begins, the board members will speak only among themselves and in public. No dialogue with the applicant or the public will occur during deliberations. If during deliberations, the board determines that additional information is needed, it may vote to exit deliberations and reopen the public hearing. If a decision to approve with conditions, or deny is not reached by December 16th meeting, the board may discuss the continuation of deliberations at a publicized date certain. The board must issue a final decision no later than January 17th, 2026. The members of the public making a comment will address the planning board chair and not the applicant. At the end of the public comment period, the chair will offer the applicant time to respond to any comments or questions from the public. We encourage members of the public to share their input during the public hearing and thank those who participate. Participation in public hearings is done in person. No phone calls or texts will be accepted in a public hearing. A Zoom link to the public hearing may be provided to watch and listen. No Zoom participation is permitted. Any member of the public may mail or email their question or comments to the town office in sufficient time to be recognized during the hearing. The chair has set a time of 2 minutes. We ask that anyone who's participating to be economical with their time because we have a very busy agenda this morning. Comments from the gallery are not allowed. If you want to make a comment, you must come to the microphone, tell us who you are, where you live, and whether you represent a party to the application. Abutters to the project site will be allowed to speak first. The planning board wants to know how your thoughts could help the planning board evaluate this application, keeping in mind that the planning board will review your comments through the lens of the town's ordinances, its site plan review regulations, and state law. This means that the planning board does not have discretionary power. Its assessment and decision with respect to the application are limited to and will be based on the voter-approved ordinances, regulations, and state law. I will open the public hearing with a roll call.
Alan Burko, alternate.
Rob Wilson, member.
Michael Bell member.
Bill Spence member,
Catherine Brennan member.
Morgan Dean member.
John Racine member.
Rich Rita, Select Board, ex officio.
so I will be,
Nights on Zoom.
hello Nancy Knight.
Hi, alternate
You are. Didn't know you were there. Yes, good morning.
morning.
I will begin. I want to deal with the public hearing portion of this right away.
So I'll recuse myself at this point, Mr. Chair.
As you are,
As the Select Board is in a butter in this project.
I don't. I think I can,
You can't see.
I can't because she's on Zoom.
You
No,
can't because
see
he's
anybody.
for him.
I can't see
Can't
anybody
see
else.
anybody.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the number of voters that are participating in this
Correct.
hearing.
Right.
Correct.
Correct.
Are there any abutters who wish to speak at this public hearing? I see the hand of, and I know you to be
Yeah.
counselor.
My name's David LaFever and I'm an attorney and I'm appearing on behalf of the Board of Selectmen. And I will do my very best to keep it short, but there's 3 selectmen, so I should get 6 minutes at least. So
Trust an attorney to say something like that.
say something like that, okay. I was just handed this letter from, or an email from a gentleman by the name of John Fontes. I don't know if the board has seen that, but if.
Well, we were just presented with the same letter. It came
So
to
I'm
at
gonna
the same
make reference,
time.
I'm gonna make reference to that. in a
I know
second.
who he is.
Okay. So in no particular order, these are the comments from the Board of Selectmen. First, the board just wants to recognize that this is probably the largest development in town in the last 40 years. Everybody seems to know that. And I think the concern from the selectmen is they don't want the planning board to feel as though they are rushed to reach a decision at the expense of your ability to do your due diligence. So just a sort of a thought at the front end here, which is if this board needs more time than 65 days to get this done, please do not hesitate to either ask for the necessary additional time from the applicant or do what you did last time, which is if you don't have the information you need, you can dismiss or deny the application without prejudice. So please don't hesitate to do that again if need be. I think there was some question about an additional public hearing on December 16th in the evening, and the board would like to ask that you do that. Specifically, there was some commentary relative to the parking that just came in. I think it just came in like yesterday morning, so the public may not have had a chance to see that. So it would be nice to afford the public an opportunity to review that before coming to a meeting.
Counselor, to what are you referring?
The applicant's response to the town's peer review relative to parking.
I read it. Yes.
That apparently was only posted to the town's website yesterday, maybe yesterday morning, and the point simply being is that to the extent the public at large would like an opportunity to review it and comment, it just came in, so they should be afforded that additional
Okay,
opportunity.
that's understood, and the announcement was made in my opening remarks that there will be a public hearing on December 16th at 6 p.m.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. And if I didn't hear you, I apologize.
No problem.
So the town owns the ice arena and there are 4 easements, and I've talked about these before. Did you say you could pull that up? So I'm gonna get off the microphone, but I wanna point at this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So there's 4 easements. The one is the parking easement that appears to be, the easement area appears to be delineated, and that's just fine. There's also a, sorry, David, that's okay.
Make it a little larger for
Make it a little bit larger, and then you're gonna have to go down a foot. Okay, so there. There's also a maintenance and access easement, like for emergency services and things. And that, well, the access easement includes access to the building, but it also includes this access around here. And you can sort of see here, there's like that's not the easement being delineated on the plan, that's just showing kind of this driveway area. But one of the things that the selectmen would like to see is the actual easement area delineated on the plan, okay? That's important. There's a third easement, which is relative to drainage. And that's, I believe, the portion I'm talking about is on this lower side of the building. But there are drainage structures, I believe they're underground drainage structures. And the selectmen think that probably needs to be delineated on the plan as well. And then the last of the easements has to do with snow and ice storage relative to the Zamboni, and that's kind of in this area right here. And so what we have uncovered or learned is that in combination between the plowing of the access easement that comes around here, because the town, they plow that, and in combination with the Zamboni dumping ice and whatnot, this area where the path splits, you see that? I believe this is proposed new. That's where the snow is getting pushed and stored. So that's something that has to be addressed. What we've asked is that these easement areas be delineated on the plans. Again, the access easement and the snow storage easement. It hasn't happened. If you remember from the last meeting, we were going to talk with the applicant outside of the meeting. I had a very brief conversation with one of the gentlemen who was here last time for about 5 minutes, and I have had no subsequent conversation with them whatsoever.
Gentleman is what?
I can't remember his name.
I believe it was Nick.
Oh, you mean,
It would be one of the engineers.
engineers?
Engineers.
Okay.
And he said he would take it under advisement and get back to me. And so I think the sentiment of the board was, well, maybe the applicant could work together with the selectmen to resolve this question. And what I'm saying to the board now is that's not really happening. And so when the board gets to that point of considering the plan for approval, if the applicant has not done what we're asking, which is to delineate the easement areas on the plan and make sure they work for the selectmen in the town, is to require that as a condition of approval. It's a very important thing. And what we're trying to avoid is conflict, right? We're trying to avoid future conflict. So there's no reason why the applicant can't potentially, reorientate that pathway and then delineate the easement areas, and then everything will work, okay?
Counselor?
Yes.
Are you asking the applicant to move the pathway?
What I'm saying, I understand what you're saying. I understand your question.
Well, what you're indicating is that there was snow storage and snow removal.
Yes.
And it is on the same place as the path.
That's correct. What the plan shows, there's like this dotted line, then a solid line, dotted line, this line right here. I think that the intention was to show that as being sort of part of the easement area. And I don't know how they came up with that, but there's this little area right here, and they kind of, that's where the Zamboni comes out. And you might know this, but the Zamboni, it comes out straight and it dumps it, and maybe come out this way and dump it, and maybe it can come out like this and dump it. So depending on how much snow, that's the way it works. But the snow storage is probably at least 15 or 20 feet beyond this line. One of the problems with the plan is that it doesn't have dimensions on it, right? So this area here, for example, it's shown, but it's not showing the dimension. We had Public Works look at it, we had Fire look at it, and the selectmen had Public Works and Fire look at it, and they both indicated that the plowing that happens to keep that emergency access open, and then and the Zamboni, that snow, the berm, the berm that gets created is in the area of the walkway. I don't view it as my role to suggest how the applicant solved that problem, but I'm flagging that problem for the board. The easy solution would appear to me that instead of having this pathway here, you just reorient it some way. It seems like an easy fix. But does that answer your question?
It does. That's what I assumed you were. I would also
Liz has a
remember,
question.
Liz,
So in looking at the easements really briefly, it doesn't look like there's meets and bounds.
There's not.
So how are we supposed to ask the applicant to depict it on the plan if there's no meets and bounds in the easement?
Right. So the easement deeds I believe by design are intended to be flexible because they contemplated future use of the property. And so what I suggested to Nick, the engineer, was you can put a line on the plan that says something like approximate location of the edge of the easement. You could do that. But knowing full well that the town, as of right now, is in fact storing snow in the area of that pathway, that's something that needs to be addressed. So my suggestion was you delineate the easement areas by showing something like approximate location of the edge of the easement. So at least, again, this is planning. We're just trying to avoid a problem in the future because this board doesn't, you know, adjudicate the town's easement rights or the applicant's easement rights. You don't have that jurisdiction. But what you can do is say, I foresee there's going to be a problem here, so we want to make sure that whatever plan gets approved avoids that problem, and that's what we're asking you to do.
Yeah, it's good of you to mention that the planning board does not adjudicate
That's correct.
the problems of the abutters and their easements.
That's right. Okay, moving on. Parking on the east side. My understanding is the applicant has indicated that parking lot is at virtually full capacity. It's also the town's peer review to the traffic study has indicated that parking lot is at near capacity. And then interestingly enough, just this morning, we got this email from Mr. Fontes talking about the east side parking lot. Selectmen agree with the experts that parking area and the 70 or 72 spaces that are there should not be considered by the board as part of any parking calculation. Those spaces are simply not available. They're not available. So when you do your parking calculation and you try to figure out, they're not available because they're already at full capacity when there's an event. And what this gentleman, Mr. Fontes, has brought up is he said, look at it, there's going to be overflow parking and it's going to be across the street. I believe what he's looking for is some formalized recognition of that. I suspect what the applicant will say is, well, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's been going on for years, and everybody's fine with that arrangement. If that's the case, we believe there should be a condition of approval that simply recognizes or acknowledges that reality, which is if there has to be overflow parking if everybody at the Adventure Zone is parking on the east side parking area, right? Then the people that would normally park there are going to have to park somewhere. And it makes sense that overflow parking, the offsite parking be permitted for the ice arena. And so in that regard, the selectmen would ask that there be some a condition of approval that speaks specifically to that issue.
Counselor,
Yes, sir.
you should explain what's his name, Fontes?
Yeah,
He is the,
well, he says that he's the co-founder and owner of the Hockey Academy and the Waterville Valley Ice Arena LLC, and he's the operator of the ice arena.
that's all you need to do.
Okay. All right, moving to the west side. So the zoning ordinance has this flexible parking arrangement that the board members are probably aware of. The selectmen have no objection to the utilization of a flexible parking arrangement and offsite parking. They don't generally have any objection to that in concept. They do note, however, that your regulations require that your parking spaces be paved, and they do require that your parking spaces be striped, and I believe it's 10 feet by 20 feet. And so what the selectmen would ask is if you're going to permit offsite parking to satisfy the parking requirement within this 1,000 foot area. I don't know if the board members have looked at this, but there's this line of 1,000 feet here. So if this is the site, you can have offsite parking within 1,000 feet. And so this parking area here is being proposed to satisfy the parking requirements offsite. So the selectmen are, they don't have an objection to offsite parking. They think that's consistent with the flexible parking that you have in your ordinance. However, they do think that the parking area needs to be paved, and they do think the parking area needs to be striped. And they would ask that those two things be included as a condition of approval, and also that within the parking area, there be appropriate signage as far as directing the flow of traffic, whether there be entrances be one way or whatnot. That's up to the board. But in addition to paving and striping, there needs to be appropriate signage. one of the things that I want to talk just about that a little bit more. One of the things that happens, and everybody can probably sort of take notice of this. If you have a parking area, like a large parking area that's not striped, what happens is people park haphazardly. You know, they don't necessarily park square, they don't necessarily park, you know, they maybe park too far away. And so my view is it's sort of in the applicant's best interest to have a good parking area because it's more efficient and they'll be able to put the number of spaces there that they need. Now, we do have a question with, now, if you look at the plan, it'll say like, it says like 7 spaces, 14 spaces, 34 spaces, like whatnot. We have a question, the selectmen have a question, which is, are those spaces actually there or not, right? And the way you answer that question is the plan shows the dimensions of the parking area. And it's just a simple math problem, and any one of these engineers can do this, no problem. But you show the parking area, the dimensions of the parking area, you put in the 10-foot by 20-foot parking areas to scale, you have your travel areas within the parking area. That should be shown on the plan before the board approves it to make sure that the parking spaces that the applicant is saying exist, in fact, are feasible. So that would be an additional request prior to approval. Procedurally, I just learned this yesterday. You have a conditional use permit process, which is if you intend to use off-site parking to satisfy your parking requirements, the applicant needs to get a conditional use permit. I was unaware of this until yesterday. That, in my mind, means there needs to be an additional application. The applicant has to file an application for a conditional use permit. That's going to create a problem in terms of your timeline. The board, the selectmen, don't believe you should be approving a site plan until which contemplates off-site parking as a material and critical element of that application without first reviewing a conditional use permit application for that parking. That just has to happen. And that may mean that the applicant has to extend the 65-day deadline or what, but procedurally within your ordinance, if you're going to do this, there's an additional permit that's required. I'm bringing that to the board's attention. In terms of just a couple additional comments regarding the west side parking area, I believe when the original traffic study was submitted by the applicant, they analyzed it in the context of the entirety of the spaces that are over there. There's something like 400 or 500 spaces over there. And I think that analysis is flawed. I think the analysis has to be limited to the areas that are within that 1,000 feet. So that's something that the board needs to be mindful of. The issue is this: if there are 155 or 160 spaces over there, and we know that we can't rely on the east side because those spaces are going to be taken up anyway. And we know that both the applicant's traffic expert and the town's peer review expert has said you need about 160 spaces. So if we all agree on that, the simple reality is that parking area is not 100% vacant all the time. It's just not. There's always some use. So there has to be some measure of additional parking beyond the off-site parking to accommodate the new use. And in that regard, there's the proposal is that potentially 48 spaces be built on site. And I believe there was discussion about, maybe delineating the 48 parking spaces, but reserving it until a later date if it was necessary, that sort of thing. The selectmen's position is that those 48 spaces really need to be constructed as part of the plan. They shouldn't be held back in reserve as contingent. And the reason is, if you do that, then there's going to have to be a trigger or a mechanism in order to require the construction of those 48 spaces in the future. And that is one of those types of things that I'll just tell you will lead to litigation, because the applicant's not going to want to do it. And then the town's going to want it because there's a parking problem, and it's just going to create a whole huge problem. So in the spirit of planning, the selectmen would ask that as a condition of approval, that those 48 spaces proposed on site be required to be constructed as part of the approval. And with that, I'm glad to answer any questions of the board, but that's it. And I appreciate the additional time, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
more than 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. But since there's no, the public, yes, I recognize the applicant, but since there are nobody in the gallery, I allow this to occur.
Thank you.
Who's not in nobody.
He's not a nobody, but I know, I happen to know why she's here. So nobody will have her opportunity.
But she's not a nobody.
Right at the moment, I wish to yield the floor to the applicant.
Thank you very much, James Suniti, Tyrell Development Company, representing the applicant. I am the applicant, technically. I wanted to address a couple of these things, actually. Tim's going to address some operational issues that came up with some of these comments, but a couple of things with regards to the easement, yes. There are easements that exist as indicated about emergency access, which is actually shown on the plan. The emergency access lane is shown on the plan. There is an ice disposal easement to the ice arena. But as Liz pointed out, it's a non-specific easement. It is non-specific to be flexible. And we're required to honor that easement, and we will continue to honor that easement. If the disposal spot moves from here to here, that's something we're required to do as long as it's a reasonable request from the easement holder. What they seem to be asking for is to create new easements, new more specific easements, and get the planning board to extract that from us. I don't see that as the planning board's role. We have an easement, we're required to honor it, we will honor it. The easements are indicated in the plan as required. They're non-specific, so they're not specific in the easement. So we're doing what is required. We will honor what is required. To me, the select board is trying to extract more, to modify those easements through the planning board process, which I don't believe is the venue through which to do that.
I've
So we
already
have
made
easements,
the
we will-
comment that
Yeah.
the planning board is not, it's not part of our job
Agreed.
to adjudicate.
But I also
between-
want to point out that we have these easements, we are honoring them, and we are required to continue to honor them. With regards to the discussion about the parking lots being full, we all know these are shared lots. When hockey is going on, there's very little overlap with the operational season of most of the outdoor adventure center. It's maybe 4 weekends in the last week of September into October, where you're gonna have that lot already full from the shared easement. I will point out in the east side lot, it is not an exclusive easement to the east side lot. So ignoring the east side lot for the 5 of the 6 months that these outdoor activities are in session doesn't make sense to me. Those are shared spaces. There's shared spaces across the road. We all know shared spaces are in the interests of all the businesses here and make sense. That's why your zoning ordinance is written the way it is. With regards to the 1,000 feet and the conditional use permit, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I believe the select board's attorney is wrong. What it says under flexible parking is the planning board in conjunction with site plan or subdivision review may allow the following types of flexibility from the parking requirements described in section 5B and 5C. Parking provided by public lots, designated on-street parking or other off-site parking may be utilized to fulfill some or all of the parking requirements when provided within a distance appropriate to the proposed use, but not exceeding 300 feet walking distance for residential uses, excuse me, or 1,000 feet walking distance for non-residential uses. That's 1,000 feet we're using. That does not require a conditional use permit. What requires a conditional use permit is in the next sentence. The planning board may issue conditional use permits for greater distances in conjunction with site plan or subdivision approval, when in the board's judgment, better land use planning result without any reduction in traffic or pedestrian safety. We're not asking you to consider things over 1,000 feet. You're allowed to do that at your discretion. If we want to look at beyond 1,000 feet, we would have to come and ask for a conditional use permit. But under what we've proposed here, we don't have to ask for the conditional use permit. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from Tim?
Tim Smith, representing Waterville Valley Resort in Town Square. The Nordic facility actually uses the snow that we plow, and we use the ice shavings. In the plan, you can see that there is a walkway above that area where we would traditionally take our snowcat and push the snow into the field. The plan would be is to continue that effort and then just plow out the walkway after we're done moving the snow out, or using our tractor, which we do this time of the year quite often to use that snow and put it into soft spots in our Nordic area. That's why we don't see big buildups of snow. Occasionally you'll see that plow build up and we'll push out, that roadway might have to get a little pushed out heavily, and we'll take the snowcat within a couple days and we'll flatten it out, make it look pretty again. But the operational way that we use that area is the town will push it towards the Nordic Trail system, and we use the snowcat to use that snow for the Nordic Trail system. So operationally, it works very well. It's been working very well for all the years I've been here. So just wanted to point out that
Okay,
operationally.
thank you. Is there another comment from the public? Counselor, you have your hand up.
Can I just make an additional comment?
You may.
I said this to Selectman Rita before we got here. If you've ever seen a church parking lot, it's vacant Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday morning it's packed, because that's when you have the maximum use. And that's the issue with this parking, right? Not that there will be periods of vacancy, but during periods of maximum use, there have to be sufficient parking. That's the issue. Yes, he's correct about the conditional use permit, and if I wasn't clear, to clarify, the original traffic study was talking about this west side parking area as a whole, including the availability of parking spaces outside of the 1,000 feet. And so the point that I made is, if within that 1,000 feet, you've only got 156 spaces, you're gonna have to provide additional parking, and it's just common sense. So yes, he corrected me, and if I wasn't clear about that, to be clear, the conditional use permit is outside the 1,000 feet. Thank you.
Are there any other public? Oh, you, I don't know who you are, but you'll tell me.
Sorry.
I did the parking study.
You did the parking
I
study.
did. Hello, thank you for having me here this morning. I'm Christine Triarchis with VHB. I'm a traffic engineer, and yes, I did the parking assessment. I just wanted to clarify something when we talk about the parking numbers in the study. Yes, when we looked at the entire shared parking analysis of what is available throughout the entire 540 spaces, we did consider all lots. In the study, when we are talking about the number of spaces within 1,000 feet that could accommodate specifically this use within the 1,000 feet, there are actually 228 spaces. We did not include the 72 spaces within the east side lot because they were documented to be at or near capacity during our counts in the fall, and acknowledging, yes, there are probably 4 to 5 weekends in the fall when that overlap between the two uses does occur. So to be conservative, we did not include those in the count. That 156 spaces is in addition to the east side lot spaces within 1,000 feet.
Understood.
Thank you.
Will we see you again?
Today, back up today.
Well, I hope you come back. There's another meeting, another one of these wonderful public sessions. Anything else from the public? I see a person that I know. You're here for a reason.
This is outside the public hearing.
That's okay with me. Yeah, any member of the public may speak at a public hearing for any purpose,
For any purpose.
any subject. It's a public hearing.
Okay,
We want to hear about parking,
all right.
but
It's not about parking.
I understand. You're here for a reason.
Is
Tell
it
us
for the
what-
application?
Joe, you have a comment.
Specifically?
Totally
Okay.
not.
So it'll wait until after
Yes.
the public hearing is continued
Yes,
till December 16th, and then we can take the public comment outside of the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. I wanted to be fair to anybody who takes the trouble to come to a public hearing
Mhm.
to have time at the microphone. All right, if there are no further comments, then we're going to proceed with the balance of our
We
agenda.
have to close it.
You
We
have to
vote.
continue it to a date certain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I move that we continue.
Let the chair handle whatever.
Yeah, I've already announced that we're going to have another meeting on that. But you want to have a,
Formality.
It's a
okay,
format.
let's do the formality.
So I
Okay,
move
my
we-
non-approval, go ahead.
I move we continue the public hearing for the Tyrell site plan to December 16th at 6 p.m.
I second that motion.
Here.
Here in this room.
In this room.
Yeah, time, date,
Thank you.
place. Time is 6 p.m. Date is December 16th. Place is this room here.
Right.
Got it? Got it.
Bring pizza.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objection? Motion passed.
Thank God.
I think we have concluded this portion of the meeting. Now, the very important subject that we have to discuss is the
Minutes?
No.
the priority, yeah, we're gonna do these minutes, yeah, okay. But the priority is the warrants,
Yes.
right? We've got a time schedule, we've got all these different time schedules that we have to meet, but we're gonna deal with the warrants. Because without those warrants, we wouldn't have much of a public hearing. Or at least a town meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
question about questions.
All right, anyway, I want to thank those who came this morning.
Well, I would like.
Okay, that we're gonna have more discussions about parking. You can hear it coming.
Today?
No,
Oh.
no, not today.
That's-
No, next-
okay, I just
It'll start again on the 16th.
He does have questions. about
I
parking.
am gonna answer his question. I'm merely thanking these people for coming to the meeting this morning. Go ahead.
Will we, as a board, have a chance to speak to this group about this,
About the parking study?
It'll start
among other things?
as soon as we close the public hearing. When the public hearing is underway, there's no discussion. Close that door, please.
You can ask whatever questions you want during a public hearing.
Okay. To the applicant, yes. So December 16th will be the back and forth questions from the board to the applicant.
Okay.
My
Okay,
understanding.
and then as soon as we start our deliberation,
Okay,
we deliberate amongst ourselves.
okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Correct, Joe?
Yep.
And we don't talk to the applicant, we don't talk to the public once we start deliberations.
Yeah, public hearing is for all your questions, discussions with the public, including the applicant. Deliberations are amongst yourself.
All right.
So make sure you get all your questions out during the next hearing.
So we can't reach back out to the applicant once we've started deliberation?
You can close the
If we need-
deliberations and then reopen the public hearing, but
Kind
I
of
would
like,
advise
Right.
against
Yeah.
that.
So what I,
okay,
what I
If it's
tried
an
to say this
occasional
morning,
One-off thing, sure, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
we can,
Everybody can act.
once the public hearing is closed, we automatically start deliberation. We can terminate deliberation, or at least we can stop it and reopen public hearing.
but our
If-
expert says not to do that. So all of our questions for the applicant has to happen on the.
It's gonna happen on the 16th and
Okay.
at 6 PM, and there'll be a lot more to talk about at that meeting. Go ahead.
If you have questions and want to send them in advance, in case there are things we need to do research on, that would be helpful. I would suggest that would. If you have questions now that you might want to, that would be helpful to us in giving more informative answers if we get questions in advance of the 16th. If that's when you're going to ask those
Not now,
questions, so.
right. But if the board if they have questions, they can email them to me and I can send them over to James.
Yeah, same for us.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so Liz
Anybody.
and council, not now, right now. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
For my questions,
Close the hearing.
no,
Yeah.
right
you-
now.
You continue the hearing, you have to bring it back up the 16th.
Okay,
But-
Or
email Liz.
email to Liz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
Okay.
better, right?
She can send.
okay.
So if you, I don't know, Joe, if a board member wishes to ask the applicant a question, could you do it now?
No.
No.
No,
You
You
already
closed the
shut
public
down
hearing.
that.
I shut
application.
down the, okay, so,
Email them over to me. And if
okay,
it's information.
that sounds like
for the applicant.
a reasonable way to proceed then.
I feel like we could give better answers if you have questions now that you're gonna ask, that we could give.
Mhm.
More informed answers.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
shall be done.
Joe is ready, so.
To be continued.
I'm chomping at the bit.
Put it in writing. Any comment from you, Nancy?
Slipped.
No, good.
Like to reseat myself, Mr. Chair.
You may receipt
Balance of
yourself.
the meeting.
Yes.
Until 11:45, whichever comes first.
Same time.
What's happening at 11:45? You're leaving.
I need to, I think, 2.5 hours, can we do this in 2.5 hours?
I think we can.
Did you need me for any subsequent part of this?
I
Don't want to keep the meter running unnecessarily.
I understand, and I think the answer is no, and I expected more people here today.
Okay.
Didn't happen. But
Weather too.
I think though that there will be many more questions and much more reason for you to be here on the 16th.
You're
Sure thing.
leaving here for you.
16th at 6 P.M.
Here.
Here.
Watching out for us, for our bills allowed.
I think it'll be,
Don't see that. Honest.
I expected more today, but I think the 16th is going to be the time when everything that is to be discussed will come to light.
Can I ask a question, a procedural question?
Yeah.
The questions that are going to be submitted by us to Liz, to James, which James is then going to maybe answer in writing back to Liz. Can we be included in that chain? Or is it,
I can email out the answer, but there's no back and forth.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
But in other words, a question was asked, what time of day is this, whatever? And you come back and say it's 2:30.
That can be
We
sent. out to
want
everyone.
that chain to also, I think, come to us so we can see it ahead of time, so we see what's going on. And we would not have the power, nor should we, to comment on that which was asked and that which was answered. That's my understanding.
You can receive the answer, nobody can chime in thereafter because that could result in a meeting.
That's what I said, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I said. That's my understanding. Is that okay with you, sir?
It is.
Thank you, sir.
I'll let you in here.
Well, I'm reading it to 11:45.
The select board, I think.
Well, there's that.
But I think that's important.
It is.
It should not be a.
No problem. It's that approaching 9:30, we not have to talk about these warrants. Have a good rest of your meeting, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Joe.
Hi, Dave.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Yes, madam.
Yes, before you speak about the warrant articles, perhaps this is a good time for me to present myself.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes is all I need.
I don't believe that.
To the microphone.
Excuse me. I'm known to be short, free.
Tell us who
Clear.
you are, where you
All
live,
right,
why
so-
you're here.
I'm Erin Levy. Does it matter where I live? I live at Tri-Pyramid.
Who you representing?
I'm representing the Community Power Committee, also known as the Renewable Energy Committee. And I'm here to see if either the CIP or the planning board have any questions for us before we submit our warrant article next week. We have a deadline of December 15. If there are any other questions,
Okay, the board doesn't know that you're submitting a warrant article. Do you wish to work with the board with regard to the preparation of this warrant article?
absolutely. I think the select board knows or not.
You have mentioned to the select board.
Yeah.
To answer the question,
Right.
that you would like to have a warrant article. We recommended that the CPC come to the planning board during its CIP discussions. Or before that to the CIP to discuss what it is they want, so that it can be discussed at the planning board and whether the planning board wants to bring it forward as a warrant article. Otherwise, it would have to come either from the select board or petition. So
Okay.
this should be part of the CIP discussion.
Well, she's at the microphone now. I want to know.
And
what-
And to be clear, I mean, we've met, and so the CIP committee has the input.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know anything about this. Does
well,
any,
it's a part of but here,
We haven't gotten to it. See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, well, so they came in front of the CIP committee twice, actually, and
Yes.
presented their plans. And we discussed it as a group and we put it on here. I was a little unclear that we were creating a separate warrant article. I thought it was a part of, so that part I wasn't 100% sure about. I don't know. Maybe I
This
missed
part of this?
But you, correct, and so we have it on here, up for discussion, we have it as a, you know, considering what's going on, as a low priority, but again.
Yeah.
If. I wasn't aware that we were doing this
Yeah, I mean,
warrant article, per
yeah.
se.
Just
I
one at
don't
a
know.
time.
I didn't get that impression, so.
Yeah, so I mean, if we have to look at that in conjunction with everything else in terms of
Right.
this sheet that gives it priorities, so it's really relative. So when we go through this,
Mhm.
we can talk about it as part of the CIP, but
Okay,
you're talking to you,
I understand.
other warrant articles and things
Time
you
out.
wanna do.
Rich,
There are two clocks here, if you would. I think the select board is putting pressure on the planning board to come forward with the CIP for our budget discussions. Your recommendations next week, so you do need to get to that. We can have budget discussions after next week as well. There's that clock, and then there's the zoning amendment clock. You have a public hearing scheduled for 6 PM.
Mhm.
And we've got to vote out what zoning amendments, right, that we want to put before the public. So I would strongly recommend, I think this is where Rob may have been going, let's do the zoning amendments. And let's ask, when we do the CIP, the representative from the CPC can come and listen and make any additional comments that she would like to make when we take that up. And it's not clear to me, given all the work we need to do with the zoning amendments, that we're gonna have time today to get this, the CIP, so we may need to schedule another meeting
Yeah.
to do that, so.
Yeah, and let me add on to that, and DPS has brought some really good narrative and things that we didn't have that information to include, so we were gonna present what we had. Based on that, it would be better if, we get the DPS asks, more formally into this, and some things that we didn't have on there. And then bring that back and present that as a whole.
So
And we were
saying
gonna
that the three of us
recommend,
Should meet again, but we
Yes.
that they can present to us, like Eric did. to
So,
us,
yeah.
Today.
yeah, so what I'm recommending, but it's committee. Is that, we set up a meeting, three of us, Steve, Dave, and if you want to bring anybody else, go through the narrative, adjust the spreadsheet as a working session, and then come back, whether that's probably gonna have to be a special meeting.
No, yeah, I think
I
it's
hear
something-
another meeting coming.
Yeah, and that could fit the schedule. I mean,
How
we're
about
gonna be,
December
I mean,
25th?
we're gonna have
it-
budget.
Start that again, please.
We could go off of what we already
Maybe
did
Santa will come
and
with some money.
postpone. I mean, you reached out several times to the department
For
heads.
months.
For months to get information, and I think that we're kind of, we really worked hard on this. I think this is ready to go. I felt good about what we did and ready to discuss it to the group and then, make changes,
But- Yeah, but the
you
thing
know
that
what I'm
I'll say is, because we're doing high, medium, and low priorities on this. It's all relative, so if we don't look at this as a whole with the additions from CPS. I mean, we have DPS, we have some of that represented in here from the narrative, but there are some critical items. That keep the shop running in terms of equipment. That we don't have represented on here. So why go through this without just doing, I'd say
We're gonna run out of time.
Mr. Chairman,
let's
let's stop this.
Just a minute.
And move
I'm
forward.
controlling the floor here.
Okay.
Are you finished?
I just think we should have a special meeting. CIP, we will have a meeting and include Dave. And then we will be ready to come back and present it whole. I don't think going through it right now. makes
Mike,
sense.
what's your
It's
comment?
just
Mike,
my
wait a minute,
opinion.
my comment is very simple. What I've just heard is that the CIP committee is not ready today to have a detailed discussion regarding this document.
I think they're ready enough to, we gotta get.
Well, I just heard
Through this.
conflicting
About
things.
this document,
Somebody say
we are
something.
ready to have, what I think Rob was saying is that there's additional information he would like to consider that we got last night.
Regarding this
But this
document.
piece of paper, I feel, the three of us worked on it and we're ready to present up until
So
last
there,
night.
what you are saying to me
See what you did?
is that there are going to be no additional changes
Yeah, this is
in
your
any
fault.
way to this document. It is a final document.
No, it's not. It's a draft.
No.
This is
Liz,
a work-
Time
so
out. Liz, you have the floor.
This, we're having this discussion to potentially put a warrant article on the town ballot for the Community Power Coalition. That has to be done through the select board, not the planning board.
Okay.
If that's the route that the planning board,
The planning board doesn't have.
it's not included in
authority.
the CIP, is that what you're saying? Their ask cannot be
Correct.
part, if they want, for example, if they wanted to put solar panels
Correct.
on a building here, it could not be put in the CIP as an item.
Correct.
They don't have the power
It's a
that's,
separate, yes,
even though department heads have that, another committee can't request the planning board to consider this.
for the.
the CIP?
community- Yeah, for the community coalition, the power
It's
coalition
a,
is a separate entity and they need to go through the select board.
it is a select board committee, you're correct.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
okay, but it's not just that, okay, that clarifies that. It's the
Okay.
question of, I think what Rob's talking about is additional information has come in since.
I think
the-
they're
we
two
had
separate
the-
matters.
Deliberation, we should
Yeah.
concentrate on that. I'm just gonna make the point again, and it's 10 minutes later. We've got a lot of work to do on zoning amendments. Why don't we see how far down the road we get there? And at that point, decide whether to spend another, I see CIP at least an hour, if not longer.
Yeah.
Yes, but let's get to it.
So my question
Okay,
though
I'm
is
gonna
then-
ask you to sit down.
So.
I will sit down, knowing that we have to meet with the select board.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
That's
that this
that.
comes off of the CIP.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that's not what we were told. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
all right,
Thank you for the
Take care of that
clarification.
problem.
jump in now.
Believe it's RSA 53E that gives the whole process of it.
Okay.
Okay,
Bill?
now, zoning
Two,
amendments.
two things, if I may. One is I'm on the power committee, so
Yeah.
I have a conflict. But just for information for that committee, could they on their own propose a warrant article?
Yes,
Sure.
Yes.
because there's
For
petition.
the select board.
It's a messy
the select
business,
board.
though.
Right, we're working on it.
It's a select
I just
board
want to make sure
committee,
you,
so it's up to the select board to decide whether it wants to offer that amendment. If the select board then declines to, then members of that committee can petition it as residents, as
Right.
registered voters, right?
I think that's your point.
that's my point.
Yes, it is a messy business. Don't recommend it, but you can do it.
May I
Okay,
make a statement as the
You-
one member of the CIP who hasn't spoken?
you may.
Why break the record?
So we met weekly for a while to discuss this. We reached out to department heads multiple times. We received this information 2 days ago,
I got it
last night, and it has complicated things unnecessarily because we've been asking for it for so long. If we postpone the CIP discussion, that requires another meeting and more time, right? So if we want to be efficient, we can say your time is up. This stuff that you sent us is beyond the deadline. We didn't actually say that there was a deadline. So it's just so complicated all of a sudden because it's the 11th hour. And it just,
Right, but everything
Resentful.
about this schedule we're on is the 11th hour.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'll express an opinion, and that is that we should hear whatever time we have left, and we're wasting it. Whatever time we have left, we hear what the CIP committee has accomplished. I want to hear what that piece of paper represents,
right.
okay? And we'll do that after we get finished with these warrants.
And I will add, we still have not heard from Dylan, the wastewater treatment facility
Yeah, I know.
current.
I know
So
who he
like that's
is.
another monkey
Yeah,
wrench in
Please
this.
remember, the deadline was given to you by the select board. I'm trying to tell you that.
And tell me
they-
again what it
they-
is
Well, we were doing our budget discussions next week,
next week.
but it's a flexible deadline. If you need to, I don't think you should take the position that if we haven't heard from a department head, sorry. I think you have to go out and solicit the information. These are town municipal.
Which we have.
departments.
But here's the thing.
If they have nothing to say, then they have nothing
Okay,
to say.
I've
Because
heard-
that's the
I've
thing
heard
is
your
that
position.
Is that Steve said he
Please, no.
met with all and he was gathering the information when we very first started meeting, that he met with all the department heads and said, get your stuff in, this is what they want, and he kind of helped present it, and that was months ago. Then we went on a tour, we met with them, we had questions. We had one department head with a lot of communication back and forth, answered our questions. Another department head said, nope, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need anything. And that was that. we moved on and, you know, we had, the community power came and presented presentations to us,
Which didn't matter.
which didn't matter. So, you know, I feel like all of these things, Rob and Steve both have really good ideas for like starting next year of really streamlining things and putting together a process. I felt like this year we were at the last minute and we just needed to get, you know, do the best we can to get things done. And we've been working since October on this.
Got it.
So when I get something at 3 o'clock the night before a meeting, I'm not okay with that.
Nor should you be.
I've heard your complaint.
Okay,
Now, Dave has his hand up and I want to give him the floor.
So my apologies for this, but I share some frustration also. So we were scheduled for one meeting in October and it happened to be the week that I was on vacation. Okay, I did not get an opportunity to sit in front of this committee and I've been asking to for the whole time. I have never gotten
You
any
asked Steve? Who did
correspondence
you ask?
from the committee saying we are meeting on this day. On Monday, I got a format that said, we would like your explanations in this particular format. The last 2 days, I've been nothing but meetings. I had an opportunity to then present the information as I was asked to last night.
So Rob, you want to talk to that? Because you've been sending out emails for quite a long time.
We're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah,
with
we're
this.
not gonna get anywhere.
Time
We're
out.
not getting anywhere.
I'm not trying to, but I don't think it's fair to say that, our initial meeting was the first, initial, draft at this. It was not well represented in that first meeting, okay, of all the things that actually needed to be in there.
okay.
And so I find it's very important that there are a lot of things that are in there. I appreciate all the work that you have done. But I feel I haven't, and I expressed this in my email, I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and talk with you.
Do you know who you've been emailing? Because I have not received.
So,
any.
let's just say, real quick. Can I
I
say-
gotta get a hammer.
Yeah.
No, this year
Why
is
not?
uniquely different because Mark drove this thing top to bottom. And, you know, so,
In the past. Yes.
you know, every comment is right. Dave's comments are right. So we don't need to squabble about the whys. I think we know why because everything has changed. So, let's end this, take it offline and go from there. And Dave will.
What you
set up-
people need to do is have another meeting.
Yeah.
And listen to each other,
We're gonna do that.
okay? And then we are gonna have another meeting so that you can present your facts and figures.
Yes,
I have my phone ready. Let's discuss when this meeting is gonna take place.
December 25th, the day.
Let's start with chief noise, and if I hear that comment again, I'm gonna run from this room.
Wait, a minute, all
And-
those who are
no,
Jewish.
stop. We're wasting time. Stop. Chief, when are you available? Let's start there.
Tell me when you were available and we'll make it happen.
I think Bill wants to back into it, like when you want to have a meeting and then that's just for the CIP. And then a special meeting for the planning board, so when is the planning board available to discuss the CIP? Once you have that date, then you can figure out when you need to have your CIP
Dave, we're
Right.
back here in 5 days.
Correct.
on the 16th.
16th.
That's already a full agenda.
That's
That's
right.
amendments, that's amendments and application. I
No,
would not
and
add
we're
anything.
gonna go full bore at this parking problem and see if we can resolve
Okay,
it.
I would not add anything to that.
I'm not
agenda.
going to.
We'll be
What
there.
about the 18th or the 19th?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Either of those days were good.
So, there's a school
Only in
board,
Wide
the
open.
evening. Only in the evening for me.
and I have a school board meeting at.
I'm triaging and pediatrics and there till 4:30.
Okay, then the proposal is on the floor for a meeting on the 18th at 6 P.M.
I just said, I have a school board meeting.
It's at 4, right?
It starts at 4. We never know. Because that's also our budget time.
Okay,
We never
so
know how
one
long
person
that's
can't
gonna
make
go.
it.
If,
Noted, right?
if we're only questioning one person that can't make that meeting.
Yeah, and he may be able to make the meeting if the meeting, just show up when you can.
Okay,
That is, when
Can
if the
I
meeting
bring
goes
pizza?
beyond the time that you expected at the school board, then whenever you walk in,
I'm limited, if I'm the only person. and
we'll
they
expect
ever-
you to come down the chimney and be here.
I'm coming down the chimney in my.
Okay, so the eighteenth
in
at
my-
6
in
p.m.
my,
for a
uh,
planning board.
Could we have a
We're
motion?
having a meeting.
Could we have a motion?
Time out, please. I'm proposing a meeting on the eighteenth at 6 p.m. to talk about the CIP. We're not talking about anything else.
I will second that.
We're not wasting time on other things. We're gonna do the amendments today. We're gonna do the parking on the 16th.
And
We're gonna do the CIP on the 18th at 6 p.m. Is there a motion?
You just made it. I just seconded it.
Okay, are we in favor of that?
Aye.
Sure.
Mike, you're coming down the chimney whenever you can.
I'm coming down the chimney in my
All right.
Passover jar.
Okay, any other objections over here, John?
Amendments.
Okay,
Talk
good,
amendments.
good,
So what
and
about
it's
CIP
done.
now?
Now, can we talk about the amendments?
Yes,
Yes.
When are we gonna?
I spent a good couple hours talking.
Are you ready, Liz?
Yeah,
Go
so,
for it.
the amendments are relatively the same as we discussed last time. I don't know if you want me to go through them again, or I think everybody has a pretty good handle on it. And then, of course, we'll go into depth at the public hearing forum. The one change, that I have not yet sent out is, an article number 10, and that's, to add the provision to allow temporary fundraising events in all zoning districts with property owners' permission.
We want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes, I do want to talk about that. I mean, there's unintended consequences for that we're concerned about, and it may not even be an issue.
Okay.
I think what we do need to go through, either through the zoning again or go through the amendments, because we have to vote on each one of them, right? To vote them out to the public hearing.
Yes, that's
Oh,
why
Or
we're
we
here.
have to
doesn't
agree.
be- Yeah, it
We
just
have
has
to-
to be a board agreeance that.
Right, well,
we're
okay,
gonna
so
present,
the
yeah.
majority of, that's what I
Yeah.
meant, okay,
Yep.
so.
It doesn't have to be. formal.
Should we could either do this via the various warrant articles that
Sure.
you put together, which may be the most efficacious way to do it. Or start back at the zoning ordinance and explain things again. I'm fine with just starting with the amendments. Since they include the comments we've made so far on zoning, right?
Yeah, the warrant articles, yep.
The warrant articles, so why don't we just roll down the various warrant articles and decide if any particular one's gonna go forward for Tuesday evening?
I'm happy with that. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Ready, Liz?
All right, well, sure. All
You
right.
want to sit at the table and
Yeah, there's plenty of room.
we think it's better that we,
Is that a smart TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cast to it?
Ooh. But then you wouldn't be able to see it online?
Let me see if I can join Zoom then.
Anyone, oh, they've left, they have no one to share the
there's
screen.
nobody at the control center.
I mean, I can do it if I'm allowed. To like go there.
Yes, you are allowed.
Yeah.
To
You
give,
know how to make it work. If you know how to make it work, we'd like, you just wanna put the warrant amendment, the warrant articles on the screen, is that what you're looking to do?
Yeah.
give Liz
Better access.
access.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Look at these young people.
no, thank you, Madam Secretary.
Well, I know how to do it too. You're just.
All right,
Dave, are you
you're
okay
young
with
too.
the-
You're just grading rights. I mean,
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear from you when we
I'm
were
just
going
looking for
around.
the Zoom link.
assuming it's the
We need
same,
you
the
at that
same
meeting.
version of Zoom as mine.
You should be able to share now, maybe?
I have to find the Zoom link.
Maybe.
Then, it's more than one piece to get.
He's way low on that number. Remember
I
when we
was
were talking
yeah,
about?
you, I know, I asked you that.
Sharing's enabled, so.
Yeah, I don't have the Zoom link, so I'm just gonna save it to this flash drive and then plug the flash drive in.
Good to me.
It's in the back. This is what he wants to do.
In the meantime, you wanted to say something about, there's a particular warrant that you wanted to start the discussion.
Well, I think, yeah, it's, you should have it in front of us because it's the food service establishment. I would wait till we have the verbiage up, unless everyone has it in front of them on the table. Nope. No, I think we should have it up on the screen. Here we go.
No, I've sent them out previously, but I can email over to you.
Here we go.
Oh, this is just a.
Nancy, can you see the amendments?
Perfect. All right.
Yep, I got a thumbs up.
Okay.
Alright. So the first proposed amendment is to add a provision that the ordinance is permissive. It's not stated, then it's prohibited.
How effective is this? Sorry, Alan, you
Can you
want,
enlarge it a little? Thank you.
that is, if a proposal were made for a development that we don't know, have not dealt with in the past, does the board have the power to say we deny this application?
Say that again, please.
Depends on the application, Bill. I don't think
Of
you make a
course.
general statement.
But, well, no, but let's say that, because
A
a,
use is not mentioned, is that what you're saying?
yes,
A use is not mentioned, we don't have to consider the application because it's a permissive ordinance.
Yes, unless they get a
Okay.
variance
So
for
what was,
that allowed use.
what I don't, what you're
to me,
saying
it
is,
sounds all encompassing, that is, you know, it's a very broad.
And we have that power now, it's just not explicit.
Right,
This makes
Yeah.
it explicit.
Well, I understand that, I've had this discussion
Right,
with council, that if it's not in the ordinance, it's not enforceable.
yes, correct. This gives it the legal teeth for if we were to ever go to through litigation. It gives the town the teeth.
Okay, then I
say
understand.
that use is not mentioned, therefore it's not allowed,
Yes.
and that's why it was rejected out again.
Okay,
right, so
I
the
get it.
we're going the
I
opposite
will
way.
give you
No.
the floor.
We're now going the opposite
No.
way.
No, but we're
Same.
making explicit what already is implicit in our zoning.
I thought it was implicit that if it was not explicitly denied, they could do it.
No,
Other way around.
no,
It's not allowed.
if it's not an allowed use, if it's not mentioned. Permissive is not the way you think it is. It doesn't mean they're permitted.
Right, so what we're now making that explicitly says.
It's in the ordinance,
Yeah.
therefore it is
Right, we're
executable
doing that,
and enforceable.
we're doing that now explicitly as opposed to,
We've always operated that way. It's
we've
implicit.
always operated that way,
Mhm.
but it's not definitively said that way. So what we now want to do is make it explicitly said
That
that.
is the
way.
recommendation of both legal
That I just-
counsel and
Right,
town
no,
plan.
no, I agree with that.
So let's do it.
Yeah.
Then we shall proceed.
I think Alan had, you were trying
Yes,
to get
did
in
you
on
have your
this.
hand
No,
up, Alan?
I'm good.
All right.
He doesn't want to get
Moving
in.
on.
Move on.
So yes,
This is only the first
Yeah,
one.
can you get this
So I
going?
think, so I think we're agreed, we want to bring this to a public hearing,
Yes,
and it may cause people to get confused, but we'll have to explain
we'll
it.
just explain it.
We'll
Now,
have the
do,
explanatory
Liz,
sheet.
do we need to
I
vote on each one of these?
nope, as long as the majority says yes, send it forth. then
Okay,
it's
what
fine.
I'm gonna do then is just go around the table and say, is everyone in favor?
Yep.
Are there any
You're
objections?
getting
No.
along here.
Okay, it's on the record that we've approved it, it's going to town meeting. Next,
It's going to public hearing, yes.
Public
and then-
okay,
and then
public
to the
hearing.
select board,
By
and
the
then
way,
maybe. to
The,
town
the
meeting.
meeting on the 16th will
Yes.
be vigorous and busy,
Yes,
because we're gonna deal with this parking problem,
Good
that
luck.
the matters that have been raised by select board council and the opinions and questions from the planning board. And then we get into this, we're gonna do a public hearing on these ordinances. There may be people in the audience who wanna talk about parking, there may be people in the audience who wanna talk about, it's gonna be a busy meeting.
yes.
Bring a lunch,
Hit her.
Yes,
whatever.
all right, so
Next,
number two would be adding a provision stating. That if there's conflict between standards, the more restrictive standard shall
Why?
overtake, yes.
We say that.
Yep.
That just
We're all-
puts it up front, puts it in the top.
Yes,
is there any discussion?
I'm good.
Is everyone in favor of this?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay,
Or you're gonna do like.
for the record, it is approved, it's going to town meeting. Next,
Number 3 is to update the definitions, for removing the 2-family residential unit, adding the accessory dwelling unit, adding the food service establishment to replace restaurant, junk structure and wall, which we went through either the last meeting or a couple meetings ago.
So the question here in my mind is, do we want to lump them all together under one article? Because one could cause the whole thing to fail if
Right.
people don't want it.
Yes, right, correct.
Please
You are
explain.
correct.
Well, this is up or down, this is an up or down vote in the ballot box. It's
Yes.
not a discussion.
yes,
So if we're, these are how many changes are making? 5 or 6 changes?
Yeah.
If someone has concern with one change and manages
Sales.
to get a no vote on this, then all of them will go down.
right,
Yes.
but where are the 5 or 6 that you're talking about?
Well, 2-family, we're changing 2-family
Yeah, there's like
residential
8.
unit, we're changing ADU definition, we're changing dwelling unit, we're changing restaurant to food service, we're changing junk structure wall.
Yeah.
We're changing all those in the
Yes,
definition.
aren't they individual votes?
No, that's
Not
this,
as it reads.
not as it
currently.
reads here.
And I have a problem.
Then I would separate them.
Separate them?
I
The
think
problem
that-
is you're gonna have a whole bunch
Yeah,
of.
the public's gonna love that.
But I think that
We could make some sort of determination of these are not going to be, these 3 or 4 are not going to be controversial. And we can see if that's the case at the public hearing, maybe 1 or 2 we think could be controversial. Again, we could see. That's the whole purpose of the public hearing. We can leave it this way now. Or we can say, no, I think the food service establishment
Should be separated.
should be separated
I
out.
think that by itself is a good move.
Right.
And maybe
then
the others
we-
can stay
And then
together.
see how the public, if we get a lot of comments about, we may get comments on ADUs as well.
you're gonna get comments about ADUs.
I
So-
think ADUs is a hot button.
So,
We should separate that one out as well.
I would say only separate the one. I really like having. You think about when you're in the voting booth and you're like, okay, great,
Yeah.
great,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
like,
who
it's
cares?
gonna be a lot. And
Yeah, you
like,
wanna-
does that
you wanna-
increase our chances or decrease our chances? I don't know, but like ADU, if it's the hot button issue, take it out, make it separate, keep everything else together.
one of the complaint we consistently get over the years is that our zoning amendments are too complex for the voter, and this is the voters speaking, to understand, and there are too many of them,
Correct.
which is what Megan is, so I'm sorry, Morgan. is saying.
Morgan, yes.
But by the same token, some of those items are put upon us,
It's a good point. actually, Don.
are put upon
Not
us
by the voters.
by,
The state,
by the state,
so,
by the state, so that if it's specifically
yeah, if ADU goes down, it
AD,
doesn't matter.
ADU goes down, it doesn't
You
matter,
still have to follow the state.
the state's gonna say, we don't care what you said, this is what the
This
state
is
law,
what,
I
this is
mean,
what the state
I
law
have a
is.
problem with it. I vote against it, we all vote against it, state says, we don't care.
Mhm.
Well, don't you put that in the wording as per the
As-
state? Yeah, like, I mean.
Or you have the
It's in-
explanatory notes.
Yes.
Yeah, but
So-
nobody, wait, a minute. There's gonna be 24 of these. Might be exaggerating
Yes,
slightly,
you're exaggerating.
not by a lot, and you
These
now expect people to read all this?
I think we just take out ADU and food service, leave the others in. And see how it
Agreed.
goes at the public hearing.
Is that agreed? Is
I-
there any discussion about that? Anybody object to that?
Why are we
Makes
taking out food
sense.
service?
Well-
Because it's,
There is an issue I'd like to talk about.
Controversial.
I mean, we were wrestling with trying to change the state language. And both the select board and DPS are very hesitant to change state language.
Yeah.
In this definition, so we wanted to talk about that. Maybe we can leave it in at the time being and then talk about it and decide whether we want to break it out as a separate. Warrant article, because people are going to read it as not allowing potluck dinners, community events. Nonprofit, someone having a charity event at their home to support the New Hampshire Musical Association. what
and
have
for
you.
that reason, it's controversial.
It could become controversial, but
For
I
that
think
reason, because
as
It is
the
controversial.
director of DPS will tell you, we're approaching this all incorrectly. So the question is, do we want to still include it in this, or do we want to just break it out so we can have a separate explanation in the warrant article that, hey, look, this does not include this, and we can explain why, as Chief will
Okay.
Let's,
Here.
let's do,
That
let's do what
includes-
Rich said, who doesn't agree,
I'm out.
Break
Yes,
out
there's a
to-
proposal on the floor to separate food service
and
And
ADU.
ADU.
and ADU. All the others remain together
As one warrant article.
as one warrant article.
Well, could you?
It's a public hearing, to go to
Just
public
read-
hearing.
Can we leave it like this and then see what the public has to say? Isn't that an option too? And then, or no?
Yeah, you guys can do it.
Yes,
however.
we can, because it's not until we have the actual vote on the language. I think we're gonna end up going that way to be safe
But I-
anyway.
I think we should go that way because it makes sense that way.
Yeah.
Because
I think we-
otherwise, you got situations in there whereas, I hate to agree with Rich, it really
It
bothers
happens
me.
sometimes.
But he's absolutely right. There are people that are gonna read this, me included, they're gonna take one of these items and say, I don't like that, therefore I'm voting against all of it. And we should just break those things that we think are that controversial, in our opinion, break them out, make them separate, move forward.
That's already on the floor. Is there anybody who disagrees with doing that?
I feel like we don't have the full information. You said there's more information that chief says we're going about this, the backwards route, like.
Yeah, but
That's information that should be shared and.
Yeah, we can talk,
discuss
we
that.
can, we can talk, we can move
I can't make a
forward.
decision.
We can, well, Jim's here, I'm sorry. Right, Jim and I talked about it yesterday. along
What
with-
does Jim have to say?
So, yeah,
So the definition for food service that's included in here is the language out of the state RSA. So you should just have it say. The definition has changed to follow the state RSA that only covers things that require food licensing. That will then exclude everything else. So this is only deals with establishments that need a food service license.
and that's what we have to make plain to people, so they don't think we can't do we can't do
Potluck.
the sachet, for example, the gazebo sachet unless we get a permit for it. That's not the case. You don't, that does not require a food service license.
Okay, that's
But the way you
DPS
just
recommendation?
said It makes sense. Like, can't we just use what you just said? I mean, that makes
Right.
sense to me.
Yep.
The way
It
you
makes
just
sense.
said
That's
it.
why I break it out.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do think we we do list what we mean by food service establishment. I don't want to just say we follow the RSA, we should just regurgitate the RSA, so
Right,
it's
but-
clear.
Okay, are we in agreement to follow DPS recommendation?
Yes.
Yes.
So leave it as state language and
With
I
a
don't-
caveat.
would you want to put that, but we're talking about food services that require a license.
Only those that
State
require a
license.
license, what Jim just said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would meet the definition of food services.
Right, that's
Okay,
simple.
I think
Makes
that's
sense.
the best way to get a pass.
All right, so we'll break that out as a separate.
Yes, so
so
we've
that can be
broken out
explained.
food
We can put it
service.
back in if it.
Just a minute, we've broken out food service and ADU.
Yep.
Okay, all the others are together. That's what we're
I don't
discussing
see any
now.
Controversy with the.
Are we in favor of doing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and to
So we
recognize
put it back together again.
Alan's, let's keep going here.
Perfect. All right, so the next one, and the ADU one, we may just be able to move it to the number
The
4
definition.
completely.
Cause you're just talking definition, right?
Right, yeah, so updating all sections related to accessory dwelling units, we could just put the
Sure.
definition, I'll just write that in there.
Right, so it doesn't require an next one for ADU, it'll just be covered on this
Yeah.
one, great, that's even better.
Okay, are we in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And Liz, you make appropriate references to the fact that this is being forced on us by state law.
Mhm. Yep.
It's not a matter that the voters can mumble and grumble
your
about.
vote is of
We're
no
gonna do
consequence.
this.
Yeah, right, they can mumble and grumble.
Yeah, okay, yeah, they're gonna mumble,
Talk
yes.
to the state.
But I have a legal question.
Oh my.
I apologize.
I'm gonna put you back up.
We're
to
not gonna
Jimmy.
lawyers.
Oh, we lost all our lawyers.
Yes,
Let's suppose that the town votes against.
no, let's not. Mike, there's nothing we could do, it's state law.
It would just mean that the zoning
it's
ordinance
no
doesn't
void.
match the state law.
Right.
And
Which-
somebody's gonna sue.
Makes
us.
it
It
void.
happens. However, if the town were to still follow the existing language, if someone were to argue it and bring it to court, the court would
We would lose.
automatically rule in favor of,
We would lose.
yes.
Yes, so why even?
So then the
So
town
it becomes, your problem is irrelevant and immaterial.
So the town should just.
Well, except somehow people better understand that. And I think the chairman has to stand up
Well, it'll be in the explanatory notes. Mike.
on 1 foot.
Okay,
You cannot have an illegal warrant article.
Alan has suggested that
Yes, moving on. Sorry.
So, the select board attorney said that the ordinance already requires parking spaces to be lined. I have not.
I haven't seen that.
I have not been able to locate that, but if he has that, if he could send it to me, because we could remove this warrant article
I would leave it in.
if it's,
We may not need it.
yeah, if it's already listed somewhere that I just didn't see.
I haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen.
So
it.
it's not so much listed, is that we talk about, so when we talk about parking, we
10 by
talking about
20.
parking and loading spaces.
Yes,
We talk about parking spaces of 10 to 20.
yes.
So it doesn't say parking must be delineated, but the whole context is it will be delineated at the 10 by 20 spot. So this is just making explicit, as I read it,
Yes,
what off-street parking.
yes, and that's what this warrant article would do, would
Right.
make it known that, yes, it has to be delineated.
We talk about parking aisles, parking spaces shall be entirely within the lot. It's all there.
It's implied, yes.
Yeah,
just
But
not-
implying, and as we've seen in this particular case, when parking is controversial, and I said almost always is controversial,
Mhm.
that we had better make it explicit.
Yeah,
So this is really a cleanup more than anything else.
I agree,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
all of this matter of the
Yeah.
parking needs to be, well, shall we say,
So the
rewritten?
explanatory notes would say, this is already implied, but this is makes it
Yes.
explicit.
Yep.
Because that's what we've been doing for a decade, 50
Well,
years.
Is that we already have that the parking needs, that any parking spaces need to be paved. That's already in the ordinance, is that
Right,
correct?
everything is
Yes.
implicit, yeah,
Yeah, okay, but if it's paved and lined, then we
10 by
can,
20
we call it parking.
space.
But if it's not paved and lined, it's not parking.
yes.
That's where we, I think,
Mhm.
that's our, we want to arrive at that place. Where we can say if it's paved and lined, it can be counted, then we know that it's parking.
Yes,
If it's a dirt lot, it's not parking.
And that's in our ordinances now?
No,
paved
No.
is,
Paved, and it
Paved.
talks about space sizes,
Okay.
but it doesn't say,
It doesn't say paved
Delineate.
in line.
Okay.
what's this? 10
No,
by
that's
20?
it.
but we want it to say explicitly.
I understand, but theoretically, at least. When we get back to our friends parking.
Yeah.
That
No,
would, don't even
We
discuss it,
can't discuss
that's-
it. We can't say a word about it.
never mind.
They're not here.
No, I don't care about them, but I
Yeah,
do
right.
care about them.
The parking plan shall include adequate documentation to support the proposed number. There it is implied. We're talking 10 by 20 spaces where it says that otherwise. And location of spaces.
Location.
Number and location
Mhm.
means a delineation. We just don't have the word
Well,
delineation.
So this is good.
This is just adding delineation. It's-
Accepted for that.
so yes, let's go on to
Yep.
public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, are we in agreement with this?
Yes.
Nods around the table? Yes, so it's going to town meeting.
Going.
Number
Next,
6, this is a state law change, residential dwelling units,
Yeah.
we can only require one space. So, I believe it's 1.5 currently, or 1.5.
I think 1.5, it
1.5
depends whether it's
is ours.
residential or commercial.
Yes, and now it's. all
Residential is
one.
1.5.
Yep.
That's what they were getting at, because towns were having, you have to have 5 parking spaces per house.
So
why
it's
limited
now gonna be
development.
one.
Yes.
We have no
Yep.
choice.
Yeah.
So when,
So
some-
it's
At
done.
least it has to be,
so theoretically, if
No.
someone builds something
No theory.
like Green Peak where
We
I
have to
am,
do this.
which is 2,
we can only require
we
one.
can only require 1.
Yep, the town, yes. If there's an HOA, that's a whole different ballgame.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think there's any discussion about this. This is state law.
Yeah, we just have to change our table.
So,
Well, yay.
okay, everybody in favor with this? This is the way it's written?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay, it's going to town meeting.
Yep.
Next,
well, to public.
Public hearing, yeah.
okay, public hearing. And once the public has chewed on it.
Then it comes back to us.
Then it comes back to us and then we
We chew
vote.
on it.
We
To the select board.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
understood. Moving on.
Then Rich is
Number 7 is just adding additional language in the beginning, because it states in the beginning of the sign section. That all signs need approval through the select board. And this is just to clarify that it doesn't for political signs. And that's just been recommended to add. It's further down in the regulations.
Right.
But I don't want it to be misconstrued, so just adding it to the beginning as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're fine. The select board is fine with this as a clarification. We already have languages, but it's more buried in our sign ordinance. It's not apparent right up front, so you're just really moving.
Yeah.
We say that. We want to keep it where it is, but then add that to the top. So when people
Yes.
first read it, they understand that political signs are not something that we can regulate. It's not allowed.
Not allowed.
State law.
Attorney General, all day.
Okay, so what is this ordinance proposal supposed, what did we want that for?
This is just adding clarification to the top of the sign section of the zoning ordinance to clarify that political signs are not regulated by the town. And that's
Okay,
because-
that's what it says.
Yep.
Political sign not regulated by the town.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, any discussion? Everybody in favor?
Yeah.
Nod, just nod. Okay, so it's going to
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Yes. Number 8 is to amend the zoning map, for the White Mountain
Athletic
Athletic
club.
Club. And that's to change, from special civic to village commercial.
Yeah.
Everybody was in agreement, when he presented, so I assume it's going to public
Yeah,
hearing.
I don't understand why it was special civic to start with.
It was a different town 50 years ago.
I suppose so. Okay, everybody's all nod of approval.
Yeah.
Next.
All right, so this is to, this one may potentially be able to be removed. Because this is to allow the temporary fundraising events.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I would say we don't need that now based on the language change we're gonna have.
If we're changing the food service establishments for
Yes.
licensed facilities.
That's where the controversy erupted, and then we can eliminate this.
Perfect.
Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any dissenters? Moving on.
Good. And then the last one is just grammatical and formatting errors.
Wow,
Wow.
that was quick.
So just in case we need to move a comma or the.
You want to go back and argue about something again?
Don't say that.
Yeah.
You may get a yes.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, that wraps them all up.
Okay, any comment from DPS?
No, we went over it last night. There were a few definition changes. One concern was in the definition of an ADU, of the ADUs. Barring short-term rentals, we were concerned that there was gonna be that was gonna be a contentious part, and we didn't want that definition being voted down just because of the one line. in
Yeah,
there that says
That's right, I've forgotten about that.
ADUs
Yeah, it's a big deal too.
cannot be
Yes.
short-term rentals because it is covered
Right.
in the short-term rental portion of the zoning ordinance.
And what's going on there was if you pull up the change you wanted to make to add that ADU language to the zoning ordinance.
Yep.
You'll see the very bottom, I think it's item number 9. It says,
Yes.
ADU, STRs are prohibited in
Shall
ADUs.
not be, yes.
Right, so, chief's concern is that that's gonna be controversial, not allowing STRs, in ADUs. And we don't want the whole ADU thing to, like that state law to fail, so to take that out of that, so we should let the rest of the board see that. And if we need to say that explicitly, which I think we do, we put it in
The
as a
short-term
change to
rental.
short-term rental in the ordinance.
It's covered in the short-term rentals. I was just
Mhm.
concerned that we would
But you may want to put it up so that people
Yeah.
can see what we're,
Do we
Talking
need
about.
to present at the public hearing? The fact that we wish to add this item number 9 that you're referring to?
yes, that was gonna be a change.
Okay. Good. I think that it should be presented to the public at the public hearing. That we intend to say that ADUs are not suitable or not allowed to be
Used for STRs.
used for SDRs.
Right, but we should put that in the STR section. So anyway, once we pull it up, you can see, everyone can see what we're talking
So
about, and then where to put it, I mean,
So right now, it's currently listed in 2 sections,
right,
so it only needs to be listed in the short-term rental section.
right. Do we have the language there?
But I
think we
don't-
do we?
Yeah.
We do. Is this the new language proposed, or is this old language?
It's new language.
Yeah,
I
and we're
don't,
redoing the whole permitting process too, because of the state with ADU and STRs,
but
if this is approved.
all of those proposals that we just saw is the revision to SDR rules. Was that included in that list? I don't remember.
But we're gonna look at, that's why I wanna pull it up and get to the zoning, show where we're taking it out. And then then go down to STR and see what STR says. That's, we're getting there. Yeah,
So it's a different zoning ordinance change.
Yes, which,
So this is further down from the new language for ADUs.
yes, let me just screen share real quick. Where's Zoom? Here we go.
Windows, everywhere windows.
It's up on
Yeah.
page 9, Liz.
For,
On the, if you go to the definition of ADU.
oh, yes, so I moved it down to the short-term rentals.
Okay, so let's see where you took it out of. They had the definition of ADUs,
Yes,
and it was number 9, so it's gone from there.
yes,
So it's not, it was there, that's where we were gonna put it.
Yeah.
STUs are prohibited in ADUs.
yep, and
Now
I
it's-
will make sure that I don't know why the.
So now that's gonna be a separate,
That'll be a warrant article as well,
a separate warrant article?
Yes,
for
we're
short-term
changing,
rental,
because we're changing
So-
STRs.
So the prohibition for STRs in ADUs is going to be a separate item?
That's what we have to
Separate
decide.
warrant
That's
article.
what we're-
yes.
That's what
That's
we're
what's
looking-
on the table right
That's what's on
now,
the table.
or the floor, wherever you want to put it, yeah.
And where we go would be in this. These are,
Right here,
this was all just,
that's the,
right, there it is, right there, yeah.
The current,
yes, this is how, the short-term rental piece is how it currently has been reviewed, by the board.
But that's not in our zoning now,
No, correct.
so.
No, the,
Can you
the
read it
wording
to us?
with the strikeout.
I can't read it.
accessory dwelling units and recreational vehicles shall not be used as a short-term rental.
Do we define short-term rental,
Yes, it's above it.
Yep,
which is defined how? Too far away.
Yeah, but it's back.
It's a rental over 1 calendar month.
Right, any rental, is it under a calendar month? Any rental under a calendar month, and it's transient, we define
there
transient
we go. It's
as any, and then transient and STR.
yeah, so the definition is a building structure or land designed for residential occupancy that is offered for transient rental.
So
And the
we got-
definition of transient rental is less than a month, already, it's already in our.
Okay,
So that's the proposal that's on the floor. Do we have any discussion, any disagreement? All in favor of sending this to public hearing?
Aye.
Good.
Good, done. Is there anything else that we need to
I
discuss?
think- Dave, did you were there anything else?
There are the definition in multifamily number 53, containing 5 or more dwelling units, to be in alignment of building and fire code, it's 3 or more.
The issue there is workforce housing, right? We've got to do the 5 other places for
Yeah,
workforce.
so the,
And you have the definition of workforce, you
So-
have a new definition for workforce housing.
yes, in the multifamily, we changed to the residential structure. Residential building or structure containing 3 or more.
Yeah, so it just puts it,
That's good.
it doesn't make it conflicting, whether it's 5 or 3, they're both 3.
And this is covered in the second, amendment article we looked at, we had that list.
So you want
This is
workforce
one
to
of the
also
changes.
match the 3, is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't have to, but the definition of multifamily
It has to say.
should be 3 or more.
Yes.
Okay, so what I hear on the floor at the moment is a change in the definition of multifamily to 3,
Not 5.
not 5.
Right, and we have that. That's what our amendment currently says.
And if we go now to workforce housing. I'm getting Dave's attention. We're going to workforce housing. It's
Okay, go down
by,
to workforce. By state law, that's how we just use the state
yes,
definition.
we're not arguing with state law. We're trying to comply.
Yeah, workforce housing.
Yep. And this I just took right from, I just copied and pasted the RSA.
And we would address workforce housing on an application, that's gonna be its own thing. So
And it says multifamily here, for the purpose of workforce housing, it's 5. Multifamily definition is 3 or more, but for this purpose, we consider 5 for state law.
So
So it
multifamily
fits.
is 3 or more.
3 or more.
There's no limit on the more.
No,
Correct.
Okay, so that means we could build a 20-story apartment building.
No.
No.
You're-
The
Height
height requirements, you
Yeah.
get setbacks, you get all that.
And you.
I knew I'd get your
and-
attention.
And then you're probably more looking at potentially workforce housing, if you're talking about apartment building.
Yeah.
Maybe you're talking workforce housing or affordable housing in that
Could
case,
could be,
the whole
It
different. ballgame.
depends on what label you put on the
Right.
project.
yes.
But this amendment, we already said was okay for public hearing, we're just,
We're just
We're all
making
set.
sure that it's in. the
right, we just wanna make
ordinance
sure
in the
that it was
manner in
okay
which we
with
want it.
Dave,
Yes.
saw that we.
Dave saw that when it comes to multifamily, we've got to take out the 5s and put in the 3s.
For multifamily, yes,
Yeah.
Right.
which we did.
Except for workers.
Did we ever get around to defining square footage for workforce housing?
No, we're just using the state definition, I don't think we got into any of
Square
that.
footage
I
for
never heard of
workforce
that.
housing. I don't recall a conversation
I don't-
about that, but.
Recall any.
You're not conflating that
I
with the
don't think
minimum
we need
size
one.
of an ADU unit, are you?
What's the minimum, what do we do for a minimum size?
I believe it was 750, we,
750, 800 or something like
I
that,
believe it was 750.
something like that, 750, 800.
No, it's 750.
It was 750.
But I think- I
It was
think that was next
something
on-
like that.
I think I was next on Dave and Jim's list.
So, when you're speaking about the ADU size. The version I have, Liz, you correct me if I'm wrong, says. Of the accessory dwelling unit shall be no more than 750 square feet.
Yes,
That will allow a 300 square foot
No.
house.
which a town cannot restrict.
By
What?
state law.
Say this again?
Say that again?
So you could have an ADU that's 200 square feet.
A tiny house.
Yeah, yes,
But I thought in the definition, it was the minimum was 750 feet.
so that is
Up
the,
to 950 feet max that the town can restrict.
so the lowest. For a maximum size is 750. A town can say you cannot build it larger than 750,
Okay,
but there is no minimum.
Oh, no,
okay.
That's bad news.
no.
Can be restricted.
Huh?
Why is
Can
it bad
we-
news? How is
Bad-
it
bad-
not?
We can't stop manufactured housing, we can't stop mobile homes, and
Right.
we cannot stop an ADU. Smaller than 750 feet.
You want a tiny home?
We just wanted to
Why
make
not?
sure that that's.
Plenty of people
what
do
the-
it. I mean, I'm
was
750
how
square feet is pretty tiny, but
We can check on
Our
that.
concern was.
I don't care about 750, I can live with 300 I can,
why?
because
Well,
it's.
it
Yes, as
matter.
long as it
Huh?
it has.
Doesn't matter
the-
which,
That's
by.
what I want is irrelevant. It
So,
really doesn't.
So I think what's on the table, Mr. Chair, is
In the
is
town.
Dave's question whether that's correct, the 700, 50 number. We can restrict it at 750, right, as the maximum. You're reading it, Dave is, thought he read it the other way,
Which-
that's the minimum.
This state law, I do not like it. So. The minimum, the lowest a town can require, the maximum square footage be is 750.
That's it.
So,
But there's no lower
Aesthetic.
limit.
right,
But we're saying 750, so, right, that's what we've agreed.
for the
to.
maximum size.
Right.
We don't want them building
Right.
another home
Right.
and calling it as an ADU. That's
But they
what
want
this is,
to know if we can
Right.
set a minimum
right?
size to it.
It's the obverse, right? That we don't want someone who has a lot saying they're building an ADU and build a 2,000 square foot home.
What is this? I'm just curious. Does anybody know what the smallest square footage of any of the condos? I see some that are like 550, 530 that are, just
Could be.
basically.
I mean, I'm in one of the smaller ones in Sunnyside, which is the same as, I can't remember which one, over near Town Square. It's 750 square feet, give or take, because no walls are square.
But you're not, yeah, but so what
Water
we're
bill.
saying is that currently the smallest residential unit in town, we think, is around 750 square.
Well,
Well,
you
there's
No,
condos that are
Black Bear
600,
and Eagle has
You
small.
got-
and
you gotta-
five, I think that-
gotta differentiate between condominiums / townhouses and homes. We do have a minimum footage, square footage on homes.
1,500?
The 1,500? That sounds right. I don't know if we
What's a
have
home?
a single family residence
Detached.
detached, right?
They,
But a condominium, I don't know if we
An
regulate. any-
an LDR building,
Yeah, it's not, well, it could be in,
but be HDR.
it could be in HDR, could be BC too,
Well, I'm looking at one in Chippewa Way, which is
Village.
but we don't,
village, and this says it's 614.
we don't regulate the size of
Condo.
condominiums. I don't think we've ever regulated those. It could be smaller.
So
bigger.
can I read the statute?
Please,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Minimum and maximum sizes. The ordinance may establish size limits for ADUs. But it may not limit an ADU to less than 750 square feet.
Mhm.
The total living space of the ADU shall not exceed 950 square feet unless authorized by the municipality. So my notes in here was. Do you want to follow the state law saying your ADU has to be between 750 and 950?
Okay,
Saying-
Okay,
Are we saying, yeah,
Okay.
I thought,
I can do
Could
that.
you please read it again?
Okay, so minimum and maximum, the ordinance. May establish size limits for ADUs, so we
Right.
are allowed to do that,
Right,
okay? But it may not limit an ADU to less than 750 feet,
Mhm.
okay? So we can't say you can't build under that.
right.
right.
The total living space for the ADU shall not exceed 950 square feet unless authorized. by
And we're
the
not changing
municipality.
that. We're leaving it at.
So
950.
I think it's a good proposal.
What I think this definition needs to,
Must be between.
Must be
750
between
and 950?
the 750 and 950.
Okay.
That would eliminate your tiny home.
That would.
But why do we care about that? Like, wouldn't we want people to have tiny homes so they can live in this town and send their kids to the school? Like, what is this?
But a municipality may not restrict the total living space to less than 750.
So we couldn't say 6. In the zone.
Yeah, but isn't that saying you can't have?
Yes, you can't, it's saying the minimum that we can say they can, the smallest that they're allowed to build is less than 750.
A municipality may not restrict the total living space to less than 750 square feet, so putting the 750 to 950 covers it all.
Yes.
But we cannot restrict it to less than.
But it could be 300.
So they can build whatever, they can build a tiny home,
Yes.
Yes,
is what was,
Yes,
an ADU can be any size up to 950 square feet,
as state law reads.
as state law reads.
Yeah.
Is-
And if
That's
someone
the way I
wants to-
read it.
If
Which I
someone
think
wants
is
to build it
stupid.
bigger, they gotta come.
It's a different process, right?
It's different.
I think what they were trying to prevent were towns from saying, okay, here's how we'll deal with ADUs. Right, they have to be at least this big, so we don't get the 300, we don't want these little, like rental cabins.
But I don't think that's what it says.
Well, I don't think it's saying that the town cannot forbid that, right? Cannot restrict,
You can establish side one,
right,
but it cannot limit an ADU to less than 750 square feet. So the way that it's written,
So they could build it smaller,
They-
but we're not restricting it.
We
yes,
can't require them to build it. small.
Right.
yes,
yeah,
But what
that's
I'm,
how I read it.
to answer Morgan's question. The problem that I foresee is somebody building small rental cabins and calling them ADUs.
We only
Yeah,
allow
one.
we allow only one ADU per lot.
Per
either
lot.
Detached or, so you can.
Regardless the size of the lot.
we can't as a town come in and say. Your limit is 500 square feet. We can't do that. The smallest limit that we can go is 750.
Yeah, so they can build a tiny,
So
Yeah.
I have a quick
Overall
question in
tiny home.
regards to this. Forget about the ADU. I buy a piece of land and LDR or HDR. I want to put a 300 square foot house in there. I can do that.
Well, doesn't have to
Um,
be 1,500 square feet.
you gotta have a principal residence to have the
The
ADU,
principal
right?
residence could be, is
Well, it has
there
to,
a size restriction on that?
yes, I think we have.
There,
A minimum.
single family homes, there's a minimum.
I don't want to build anything else.
No, you can't.
No ADUs.
Yeah.
I want to build a
No,
300 square
1,500
foot.
You can't.
You can't.
If it's a principal residence, it has
At
to be
least
1,500 feet,
Oh, yeah,
square
that's
footage.
right. And-
right? Now, then if you wanna build a detached ADU off of that.
Got it. Okay,
And you wanna make it 300, as I read,
that's,
you can,
Yes. All this
Understood.
says is we can't restrict it less than 750.
And
But we
in
don't
LDR.
have to allow anything over 950.
right?
Even in LDR.
In any.
Yeah.
Any.
So,
No, I understand.
Any-
so the language in the change can be. The unit shall be no more than 950 square feet.
Simplify it,
Yep.
You simplify it,
You
and
get the lower-
that includes everything from,
right, 'cause we can't
950 and down.
regulate it,
There's a proposal on the floor to limit the size to 950. Any discussion?
maximum size.
Maximum size.
With no limit on the downward side.
Yeah, but we're not gonna write that.
I
To
understand.
read
but-
the living space of an accessory dwelling unit shall be no more than 950. 900.
I'm fine with that, but just unintended consequences, could we run that by council just to make sure we're not leaving ourselves open? I'm fine, I think that's a good idea, but just let's do a little bit of due diligence and say, look, does this cover what the state is saying?
yeah,
This is how it's gonna work in practice,
yes.
and we wanna make it as clear as possible.
Yep.
And the clearest language we can come up with is no bigger than 950. This lower limit is meaningless.
It's meaningless.
Yeah.
The state statute just tells towns that you can't restrict it lower than
Right.
750.
But this can still go to the public hearing though, right? Because town council will review it anyway, right? So we can still change it
They-
and put it forward.
So council reviews warrant articles, they don't review the substance of the warrant article.
But maybe we wanna just get a
But I will send it over.
clarification before the public hearing, just to make sure we've got the right,
Yes.
we got the language that chief is recommending is actually, there are no legal bombs in there, and none of us who are lawyers here
Yep.
can
Yeah,
can't fathom at the moment.
no, I think that's, yeah.
But I think that's. a
So we
good-
have the proposal on the floor to limit the maximum size to 950.
Yes.
That's the way it
So-
stands at the moment unless council changes it.
Shall be
Okay.
no more than 950.
Nancy gives us a thumbs up.
The next, thing that we caught in here, I think is just a housekeeping thing. In HDR, VC, LDR, when you're looking at lot coverage, looking to match the language of the definition of lot coverage to the definition of lot coverage at the beginning, because it mentions impervious surfaces. Okay, and in all your LDR, HDR, VC, it has buildings. So just matching the definition, the
Yes, you gotta do that.
definition of lot coverage.
Yeah,
We
we,
match.
So what is the proposal change?
well, this is an issue we had, I think.
We talked-
No,
We were trying to figure out,
I'm asking to hear the wording.
but depends what we want, I think.
So, for example, I'll give you HDR. So lot coverage is defined as the maximum lot coverage for a single family with the change dwelling unit with or without an ADU or two-family dwelling shall be 25% by all buildings. As the lot coverage definition at the beginning, and the definition is impervious surfaces.
We have to add.
So you
that.
want to add.
We have to add in impervious.
You would have to add in the impervious surfaces because the impervious surfaces are part of the lot coverage definition.
Okay,
Not just buildings.
so
Yes,
it's still limited.
Because then when we
25%.
look at a plan, we are currently looking at just the footprint of the buildings,
Yes,
okay? And not patios, driveways, any of that. The lot coverage definition has impervious surfaces. So
they're two different
we're just
standards.
trying to bring those
Right.
into alignment.
You end up with two different standards.
You come into two different standards now.
Right, what constitutes the 25%?
Yeah,
right.
and then architects are calling us and
Then what,
they don't know
what
which
gives?
ones to, how to do
Yeah,
it.
we need to fix that.
So all of them will say building and impervious surfaces.
To match the lot coverage, yes, so it's in BC, it's in LDR, it's in
Everywhere.
ADR. Wherever you see the lot coverage definition for each of those, it should match the.
Okay, everybody hear
Good.
that? Any discussion?
Do we need, does that have to be broken out separately, Liz, or is that?
Since it's
we do
really
what?
changing the substance of it, but,
We didn't change,
because, so, let me.
it wasn't,
There are some things that we can change without having to go to.
yeah, but those are non-substantive things.
Okay,
So
I think this
it's
would be
going to
substantive.
This one, well. It says the same thing, the proportion of the lot area expressed as a percent that is covered by horizontal cross sections of all buildings located on the lot. And we're going to change it to by building structures and impervious surfaces
Yeah, however you had it in the.
and the
In
definition.
the definition.
I have a question. Stupid question. Can I circumvent that by having my driveway be
Gravel.
gravel?
Yeah, that's not
Instead of
circumvention, that's a lot.
That would change,
yes,
that would change from
Or a pervious. surface.
pervious to impervious?
that's correct.
Is that accurate?
Yes,
And
Why are you laughing at me?
Can I read you our proposed change of lot coverage, which is in here,
Yeah,
okay? Is defined as with this change, you guys have already discussed this change. The percentage of a property total area that is covered by impervious surfaces.
period.
period.
Doesn't mention buildings,
Okay,
doesn't
so-
mention any of that, it just says. Total lot area that is covered by impervious surfaces.
So
Okay,
just
that's
make
satisfactory. I like that.
the others match.
I would
that.
just ask that you just make the others match.
Okay, is there any objection to that? Any discussion? Are we all in favor of changing 25% of impervious surfaces is the definition of lot coverage.
Yes. I think that's good.
Are we okay?
Yeah. I'm
All
good.
nods?
Yes.
Good. Liz, done?
Then
But we don't care whether it's a roof, a patio, a driveway, we don't care what it is.
impervious.
If it's
surface.
impervious, 25%.
Yep.
Okay,
Gotta keep things green.
Mhm.
yeah, well, if you have a semi-permeable roof, you got a problem.
I agree. Or foundation.
Jeff, something else too?
But you would ask that question.
Yeah. Okay, true. The only other, recommendation that we had was under the sign permits. Single family homes are not allowed a temporary sign.
Good.
Our recommendation is to allow a sign only because. We have found that there's applicants that are just circumventing. The rules by either placing the temporary signs within the right of way. Or they're applying for a permanent sign when the true reality, and it meets all the requirements of a permanent sign. But then they can take it down whenever it serves them, so it really doesn't make, there are ways to get around it. And if we allow one sign where you can allow two signs on condominiums and at commercial properties and everywhere else in town. That I think giving the selectmen the power to review a sign permit for. A temporary sign for a single family residence. And we had talked about then being able to deny all right of way signs, any signs within the town would have the ability to then deny anything within the right of way. But if you wanted to put a sign up, you can put it on private property.
So you want to change it to allow?
Allow one sign.
Allow
If you look at the table,
one.
so, okay, so what's going on here, the table, if you look at the table on signs and the temporary signs. It does not allow any temporary signs in single family homes. It does allow, I think, two in like condominium associations or multifamily, or whatever, but there's none. And what Chief is saying is that people are working around this, circumventing the regulation by saying they're making a permanent sign, but they're using it really in temporary manner and then taking it down. So this gets to the issue of, do you want signage in Waterville Valley that is not directional, right? We're not doing like street signs or arrow, turn right, turn left. And this is a bit of a hot button issue. It first came to, I think years ago, Bill Larson worked really hard, and it wasn't that long ago, actually, maybe 7, 8 years ago, and made significant changes to our sign provisions in the zoning ordinance, and I think they're really good, but there are a couple of these issues that we still have to clean up. So the problem the select board was faced this summer was a sign was put up by a real estate entity, not one located in Waterville Valley, that was not a open house sign. It was like sale pending or under contract. And they wanted to put it on the lot where that house was, and that was denied because you're not allowed to have a temporary sign there saying for sale or under contract, whatever. And in the town right of way. Now, the select board completely controls the town right of way. We can deny anything, any sign, temporary sign in the town right of way. The problem is we've been allowing temporary signs in the right of way for open house. But we're not supposed to take into consideration through state law, actually, it's New Hampshire Supreme Court does not allow us to consider what's said on a sign, whether to approve it or not approve it. We can regulate location, structure, look, but we can't regulate what's said on the sign. So if the select board continues to allow open house signs in the right of way, it opens us up to being challenged, or why won't you allow my yard sale sign in the right of way? And we really would have no good response to that, other than we don't. But if there are situations where that yard sale sign could go on private property, then maybe that would resolve the issue somewhat. It's not a perfect solution, but I think, and we can't control political signs at all, so don't think people can't have a sign on their property, right? They could have a political sign on, we cannot do anything with political signs on whatever. Now, there was a proposal that said we do allow directional signs in the right of way. I think we're really skating on thin ice when we say the arrow on an open house sign is a directional sign.
That would be content based.
Yeah, and that's, and by directional sign, I think what we're talking about are signs for road signs for vehicles and pedestrians,
Yep.
not a sign says, turn here for yard sale
Right.
and say that's a directional sign. I think we would have difficulty with that.
Are we saying? I'm,
So we want to
I hate-
allow.
I hate to
temporary
admit that
sign.
I'm baffled here. But I'm old and it takes my brain time to understand it. Are we saying that and let's pick on Roper Real Estate for a second, just, they're nice guys. But Roper Real Estate has an open house at Mad River condominiums. All right, are we saying they can't have,
No, they're allowed to.
they're allowed
Right now, they're allowed to. If you look at the use
on
table,
the street?
no, not in the right of way. They
So
have to
wait a
come.
minute, wait a minute. They're not allowed to put it on the street, they're not allowed to put it on the sidewalk.
No, that's a town.
Right,
That's town property.
I understand, so,
Two signs per point of access from a town road.
Yeah. And they have to go through a permit process for
so
a
that,
temporary sign.
that means they can put it on the street if they go to you and get a permit.
No, they have to go to a permit anyway. But if it's on town property, then it's up to the code enforcement officer to decide whether or not to bring that to the select board. And I think on town property, you've always brought it signs to the select board. It's a permitting process.
Yes, every sign needs a permit. Just because it's allowed here doesn't mean that it's going to be approved.
What a pain in the
Okay.
ass for you.
But because if a single family home wants to put a sign in front of their house, it
Right.
unequivocally gets denied because according to the zoning, it's not allowed.
Like a for sale sign.
For sale
Right.
sign, not allowed.
Yeah.
You can't put a for sale sign in front of your house.
And that was the
And
intent.
by allowing-
No, I understand.
Sign, it then gives the selectmen the ability to review it as part of the permit process and either approve it or deny it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I wanna go back to Roper Real Estate and, Chip Roper, the charity friend of ours.
Put it in the context of a single family home.
In single family home is different.
No, but
No,
that's what we're talking about.
talking about, because they're allowed for most other uses. So
This is
would be
just
if
a
they-
single family home.
Yeah, this would be if they were selling a single family home.
Right,
They
so
wouldn't be
if
able to put a
Catherine
for
is
sale
Anything
sign.
on
selling her
Cascade
home, she
Ridge,
can't put a
Moss
sign up.
Pass,
She can't put it out,
Snows Mountain.
but if somebody wants, if Roper Real Estate wants to put a for sale sign for a sale of something in Mad River condominiums,
They can't.
They can.
They can.
they can put it where?
Well, what it specifically says, and it's a permitted one, they have to get a permit to do it. It says two signs that,
They
Whatever.
can put it at each entrance at Mad River where you pull into the driveway of Davos Way, you can have one there and one on the other side. You can have one on each side.
On the Davos Way property, not
Yes.
on the town.
not on
property.
town
Correct.
property.
So they can't put a thing up like they do now that says, okay, go this way to the open house.
No, they cannot,
And
No,
it'll ever.
not without an approved permit.
So in other words, in order to do that, they have to go to you to get a permit to do that. What a royal pain in the ass.
But that's the
gonna
way
be
it's
for
always
you.
That was the intention.
That's how it is currently.
That's how it is
Yeah.
currently.
Currently, do they,
The only,
do they do
the
it?
reason why I'm bringing this up is because it seems like we're singling out the single family homes.
We are, and that was intentional, because I think back in the day, the folks who were here at that time on the planning board and reflected town desire, resident desires, to not to have single family homes have for sale signs or, and whereas it was less of a concern in HDR. It was a condominium situation where they can put it outside entrances and exits, but a lot of homes, you know, are along the road. And do you want a for sale sign like you see in every other town? And that the idea was, no, we don't want that in Waterville Valley.
Right.
That's all, that's what's going on here. That's why it was prohibited from single family homes, I think.
Mhm.
And I think
Okay.
Steve, Chief is raising a good question. Do we still wanna do that
No.
as a town?
I say yes.
What's the,
And if you allow it, then we, you know, we will be allowed, you know, like open house signs. Right now, if a real estate agency comes to the board and says, we want to put an open house sign on public property, we could say yes, but then that opens us up to anybody else putting any other type of, coming to us and asking for another sign. Like yard sale or,
You can propose
Whatever.
the change and see what the town says.
yeah, no, I think we move ahead and do
To
the
allow
one sign and.
To allow it. is what
To
you're
allow
saying.
It says
yeah.
none right now for single family home, just do the one and see what the town thinks.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And this will come out in the public hearing.
Is there a demand for this? Is,
Yeah,
am I
I-
missing something?
There is, and what we're finding is when I tell them what the zoning ordinance says. And we get a permit for a permanent sign,
That's the workaround.
that's the workaround.
Mhm.
They use it for a couple of weeks and then they pull the permanent sign.
But then we don't see though for sale signs on single families. I
You
mean,
mean
you're not
You
getting.
don't
for sale
because
signs.
They're not allowed.
Okay,
What's
period.
been happening
Yeah.
is they're applying for,
A
to
permanent.
put them on the right of way. And or these places that have driveways that it cannot be seen from the right of way,
Mhm.
then they're allowed to
The
put.
signs, as long as you
But it
can't
kind
see
of
the
defeats
sign.
the purpose of the sign if you can't
Right.
see it.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example? Like, is it just open house signs or what are, give some
Building
examples like?
construction.
Be any temporary, yeah, you're having your roof done.
Okay,
They put
okay.
those
The roofer wants to put his
Those-
sign, so
Yeah.
we fill our pickup truck on a weekly basis with those signs all the time. We drive around, if we see
Construction
them,
stuff.
they get pulled up, we throw them in
Okay.
there because they're not
Okay.
permanent. They're not
Dave,
allowed.
how long is the permit good for?
2 weeks. Temporary permits are good for 14 days and they're allowed to extend it 14 days.
One extension, and
Yeah,
that's all
one
through the
extension.
permitting and process either through code enforcement or with the involvement potentially of the select board.
And it prohibits handwritten paper ones or cardboard.
Yeah, we can only have, we
So
have
it's
standards.
actual,
There
yeah,
is a standard.
A standard, that's
Yeah.
all we can regulate is the standard.
so what is your point of view, chief?
My,
Yes
my
or
point
no?
of view is. I get why the town, put this restriction in place. But I'm seeing workarounds, and if we allow it, then it gives the selectmen the ability to review them. And either approve or deny them, versus flat out deny. Right off the bat to the ordinance.
Or then go
I
for a
think it gives
workaround.
them, it gives
Right.
them the discretion to review it, see what it is, and allow it. I do see that it's, most of the requests are from real estate. Real estate and, the contractors, most of the contractors are not gonna, don't fill out permits anyway, they just get out of their truck, stick it in the ground and go do their work. But it's mostly the real estate folks, that kind of. That I
Okay,
think
what is
that's
the
a hard
select
one.
board's point of view? What does the
We're willing
select board
to-
want?
It gives us more power. Sure, we'll take it.
Okay,
So I think,
What is-
I think the select board, we haven't voted on this, we haven't discussed this in any detail, we recognize it's an issue. I think putting in front of the voters to see what they want is a way to either public hearing. Or a town meeting, the vote before the business. Portion of town meeting will give us a sense of where the town wants to go in this, they wanna continue to have this complete prohibition with the workarounds. Or just allow one sign, and we can control the the sign itself. And it's a 2-week temporary.
going around the table, are you, the people around, members, are you in agreement with the proposal from DPS and the select board?
They do this for a living. So in favor.
Alan,
What do we?
I'm not a member.
I don't care.
It's not an
Yeah,
official
It's
vote,
not a formal vote.
just a general
I
feel.
will- You're good, okay. Little brain.
Old brain.
Oh, brain, okay. What's your opinion?
I think I'm in favor of it.
In favor of the proposal?
Yes.
Okay,
It's your,
in favor of the proposal.
I know, I'm on the fence with it, I have to say, just because I'm all about streamlining and making things easier, so I would have no problem with this stuff, but I don't want more signs around either.
Yeah,
So
it's
how,
a
it's
dilemma.
like, how do you?
That's the
It
dilemma.
is,
No,
but you're
yeah,
gonna
like
get a
what-
sign because it'll work
Right.
around. That's the
Right.
problem that I see.
I'm in favor.
I'd like to give the select board an opportunity to say or control it. John.
Hey.
Okay, so we have,
It's just to bring it to a public hearing. Blow back at the public hearing. You may change our mind and not vote this out as an amendment.
Yeah, it's fine by me, and I don't really care either way, but it just makes. Life a little easier when you're looking at these permit applications.
Yep.
Okay, what is it?
We want our zoning to reflect reality.
Yeah.
Reality.
I don't like the fact that there are these workarounds. You know, to me, it defeats the purpose. We've made a mistake if we have workarounds all the time.
There's also creative minds out there that out of
Oh.
anything, I mean, we saw it from, what's his name, Dave?
Yep. The
So-
counselor.
Yeah, the 6 minutes, 2 per,
Okay.
there's always a workaround, just matters how creative you get.
Mhm, I agree.
Next.
Next,
That's,
I think that covers it.
You guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that covers it.
so I will make the changes, I've made most of them already, and I will send it up to the board. I'm thinking that I'm gonna create a slideshow, kind of just putting up the warrant article with a short explanation of what it is and what it's going to do, so that we can just tab through it.
okay, slideshow for the public hearing.
Yes, for the public hearing,
Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you.
and I will ask, I'll send the 950 square feet to legal.
Yeah, if you can see if that works, that's great. That makes it very simple.
Which I
clean.
don't see why. it
No,
wouldn't.
that'd be nice and clean.
Yes. And it makes clarity of the very unclear.
Less state language.
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jim, for your input.
Thank you.
Okay. We try to listen. And then we're gonna start talking about the CIP.
Meeting.
No, we got
got
this.
Oh,
special
the
meeting
minutes.
for
No, we said we're gonna knock on
CIPs
able.
on this,
Well,
Well,
what-
let's-
The 18th.
what's
do the
18th?
minutes.
Yeah,
we got,
We have a whole meeting for it.
I feel like they
Yeah,
got.
and then we'll,
Hey,
if we don't get through it, we're gonna extend that a week.
3-minute break.
Yeah.
5
We're gonna
minute break.
extend it a week to Christmas Day.
Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks, Beth.
CIP could
No,
have
we-
their meeting, their
18th.
next meeting.
So Dave, what's scheduling look like for you
What
for
are
just,
you guys available?
you guys go,
I could do
we-
late afternoon
most of us-
on the 15th. I could do anytime on the 16th and anytime on the 17th.
Sorry, what did you, it's the 15th?
15th would be like afternoon,
Yeah, I could-
evening,
I could do, what did you say, the 6th?
16 and 17 anytime.
We have the public hearing on the 16th, 17th.
You guys get together
Yeah.
maybe ahead of the public hearing, then the
That
public
should
hearing's
be
gonna be
separated,
here
so you
Yeah,
can
on the
access-
18th.
on the
The
16th.
18th. What
How'd
about,
you do that?
Did you wanna?
How was the
meet after
15th?
16th?
I fell on it.
Well, they gotta bring it to the planning board. I think they plan to do,
Yeah.
what was it, the 18th?
the 18th, so we need a couple days to turn that around.
I've had.
Yeah, I was thinking the 16th after your.
But you know,
next
those,
meeting.
those almost.
Or we do it
long.
before.
I would recommend do it
But, you know,
before.
that'll,
But
If it's gonna be here, you guys can meet
slow you down.
ahead of
Can
time,
you do it before, Dave?
Yes.
5 PM, something like that.
How much?
Can you do it before? Okay,
You can check.
all right, 16th, say,
When I.
what do we need, an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Need an hour, about
if
5
we
o'clock.
even need that.
5 o'clock, okay.
Yeah.
You just get to stay an extra long period that night, that's all.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Hey, you know. We all have our price.
If I got paid that money, they could do
So
that.
This is all Erin's fault. Make sure she understands that.
Get that on.
Little sitting there all innocent, I just have a small little thing.
The Westlake plans were like,
Yeah.
we got the process, we got the document.
No, I like you guys are trying to reset a whole new process, so,
Yeah,
and that's something we should spend time talking about.
yeah, Steve, found this example from Pembroke,
Right?
which they have this great document, but there's like 5 pages up front that explains the process. You know, that they go
Yeah, I
through,
saw
so that,
that chart to send out. That
Yeah,
was a
yeah, I
version
mean,
of that.
there's a lot better, that was just a quick
version,
thing for
right.
discussion purposes.
Right,
But we need to start the CIP a lot earlier,
yeah,
and it needs to be more interactive with department heads in the committee. You
right.
know, to have our act
Yeah.
together, so, but yeah, this thing that Pembroke has, I think is a
Good.
model. For how we'd want, and the thing is, that goes out. What it is, and then it has a narrative, that's where I
Right.
got the idea for the narrative, a narrative on why each one.
Yeah,
know.
no, it makes sense.
Yeah, so
I
next year, we'll work on the
Yeah.
process this year.
Good. I mean, I would certainly build into it, the possibility of a last minute addition or add-on, because there always seems to be
Have
something
a
every year.
remedial process thing.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
leave time to, if something breaks all of a sudden, or
Yeah.
someone
We
wasn't
have
here for
the, too,
discussion.
the funds, the,
Zero.
yeah, the CRF funds,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, something could come up and,
We talked
What
about
have you.
adding more of those.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, something else too, and I like what Dave had put together about. We, should we be more proactive on CRFs? For things that we know it has a lifespan,
That can
and
be-
almost all their equipment has known lifespans.
sure.
And isn't it better that we do, instead of having $100,000 thing, put 15 grand to it over
There's a
10
whole
years?
debate around that the select board and the rest. of
Well,
I think that that's a good, it's definitely something to talk about, I think it's great, but also along that vein, we talked about.
So we pay into it.
roads.
No,
Yeah, see,
A lot of towns do that.
We are,
Yeah.
we're a road schedule.
We stopped doing that for a long time, and that's why all of a sudden all the roads.
We got back on it like, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, but we've been on a
But
plan.
there's still roads, no, that have not been touched.
No, because we gotta go
We
through,
gotta go
going
through
through every year,
And
we're
then
going
we're-
through, we have like a 5 or 6 year plan.
Well, it's,
On
so
roads.
so we should be on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, you
CIP,
should.
like all of that.
Yeah, we
Right.
should.
You know, if that's the case, that should be
Yeah.
shared with the CIP, so we can do
But
that.
Yeah,
Right.
the two big things that we need for this year, input from the select board is the wastewater treatment system. Do we want to even represent anything at this point? Because we don't know. That's what we figured.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is the Snows Mountain Road. We have 3 different items between the
Yeah,
sewer, so we'll need
Water,
guidance,
refill.
because we've got it,
When you open
you
the
know,
website,
down to like about 500,000 total, because you said, I mean, we're being, you know, I think unusually hard on it. But then you throw in Snows Mountain, is that a
It's a
26?
beast.
So we'll need guidance on that.
Yeah, no, but yeah, you identify the things and then we have to come up with the money.
Will be tied to that as well.
Small, the high, medium and low, but then the select board will go and look at that and decide, okay,
You just
you know
have to
what,
go to the website.
you know.
Yeah,
these are
This
high,
is
they
actually
go-
high.
Yeah.
And but
And
you go
then
through and look at the
planning
mediums and the lows, right, and then.
Well, what's happened, frankly, you know, Kathy, what's happened in the past is that it would come to the select board, they were all high. And I'm not kidding, last year, I think they're all priority 1, there may have been like a priority 2, one of them or 2 of them, just to throw in. But they were all, it was like, all right,
That's why let's see, we're not that. In fact,
are we still recording, by the way? We probably are.
Yes.
Bill, can we get along? Can we move along?
moving along.
Do you know, why did the athletic center, who asked for the athletic center to change from special civic to?
The athletic center.
Rainy
Rainy
did.
Do you know why?
Yes, because they have that one, they're not properly zoned for what the activity they are there. They knew that for some time. But 2, they're exploring what to do with the lot they own next door.
Yeah.
And changing the zone allows them more,
Flexibility.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't allowed to have food establishment. They're not allowed to have almost
Special
everything that
civic.
they are.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, when we make the change, special civic will be allowed for licensed food. We do add that, we do make that change.
So every time I walk into WEMAC now, if I see Rainey, I'm like, hey, the self-enforcement code officer. You know,
Self-appointed.
yeah, like he came in and kind of did.
Your
the job.
activity is illegal.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some minutes.
Oh, what joy.
Oh, for joy.
Isn't that? I mean, why wouldn't you want to get up in the morning and come to this meeting?
Okay, so November 13th, 20th.
I've got two for the
December.
20th, but I presume they're the same.
The 13th, I just have a quick question on line 77. So the motion was to continue the public hearing for the Adventure Zone application. Shouldn't it be shouldn't we want to open it or, I mean, I don't know, we never really opened it.
Sorry, what line?
I don't know about the word. It's probably a non-issue. It's line 77, but it says to continue the public hearing to, time subsequent, but we never really, I didn't.
It
see
should
that
be,
we-
it should be in the minutes when the public hearing was open.
Yeah,
You gotta have it.
that's
So it says Chair Bill Spence opened the meeting. The first, that's like the first.
but yeah, the planning board meeting.
It's not the public hearing. Those are
Okay.
two different things. So you should make and open the
Well, this
public hearing.
wasn't a public hearing. This was a completeness review.
Right.
So this one
Right.
wasn't a public hearing.
Right, so then that goes also to my point, so then it's really, then we're gonna have the public hearing
Okay.
on the
So
20th.
change
I
it
bet,
to-
I don't,
And it may have been,
No, it is to continue.
but I think that's what he said but we never opened the public hearing.
You did it previous meeting.
Did we?
I
See,
can't
that's what I don't
remember.
know.
Can't remember.
Let's look at the dates.
You said the 13th?
Yeah, the minutes from the
November, line
13th.
77.
So was that the?
Cause I think when, for this meeting, that was like, they're gonna look at it and a public hearing may follow. That have the wording in there was then the public hearing's gonna be at this one. I think that's why it
It
was
was-
phrased like that. If I'm remembering correctly. A month ago.
So yes, just right in there that the public hearing was opened for the outdoor adventure center. Yeah. Yep. Just right before that.
Okay.
And then the motion was made to continue it.
Yes.
That's what you wanted to get done that day. Was to continue it.
Right,
Mhm.
it was technically, but not, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on like line 43.5.
Oh.
Toss it in there.
43.5.
Yeah, between 43 and 44.
Got
That's
it.
obvious.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
that's where you opened the public hearing.
That's where the public
Yeah.
hearing was open.
Right, that's what, line
When they
24.
started,
Harry
that's
Potter
it.
wouldn't have a
That,
problem
that
with
should be the
that.
first.
Not at all.
But you need to put the time if you can figure out the
I can
time.
figure out.
Was open at such and such, yeah.
9:43 and
That-
three
that's
quarters.
important.
Yeah.
That's really good. That was a really important fix, Ken.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anything
Okay,
else?
so
Madam
yes,
Vice
to-
Chair,
Anything else?
Yes.
The 13th, are we good?
I think so, but
I move that we accept the minutes of the planning board from November 13th as amended.
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Now we're at the 20th.
Line 46, we just needed another quotation mark. That was it. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay, I made some suggestions. Line 24,
Yep, in red.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
If you're okay with it, we can move on.
I move we accept the meeting minutes as amended.
Could I, just on that, would it be good to actually list the property?
Hold it, Nancy is trying to say something.
Yeah, Rainey's name is misspelled. It's SCH.
No, I was trying to figure out how to spell his name.
And is
Yeah,
it
there
two
is an
E's at the end?
SCH, yeah.
No.
Is it one E?
Why it's 1E?
Is it one E?
It is one.
Line 23.
Yep,
And-
SCHWARTZ. How do we spell it? CHWARTZ. Alright.
And the question I have is line 24, 25. Actually, we should say the lot numbers on the.
Sure.
Right?
For the White Mountain
Athletic Club.
property identified as.
Lot
map.
number, da.
Yeah, Yeah.
So add the map and lot?
yeah,
Yeah.
there are two properties.
Lots.
Yes, which
Yeah,
probably
that's
be-
Alicia?
Yep.
Two, just so for Rainey's in on line 19 and 23, just so you know. His name's listed twice there.
Really wanted to get him in there.
Yeah, he's also on line 19.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Nancy, you had something to say other than that?
No.
Okay. So we have just some clarification in line 48, 49. We okay with that? Do I hear a motion?
Catherine seconded it.
Okay, it's already done. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes of the 20th as amended are accepted. All right, minutes of the 24th.
Um,
On line 48, I think the expression is listed by right rather than rights plural. Is that correct? Do you have a comment?
Read that, Zach.
What line is that again?
47.
47?
Yeah, but it's
I think there's a
Yeah.
typo.
By
in-
right, yeah, easements by right.
by right.
Okay, and there's a typo in 48. It should be offered to work with the
You got that.
Possessive on select boards. Apostrophe S.
Okay.
correct.
line 41, it's Corcoran Pond, not Corcoran's Pond.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
It's been on the maps too from some of our applicants.
We get it wrong all the time. It's like Packard's Road.
I was gonna say, isn't it
Mountain Road.
wrong on that, the zoning map?
It's
funny,
probably-
when I was typing this, I'm like, is it apostrophe, is it not, is it apostrophe?
We used it in
is
the
not? I can't remember,
I think it's Corcoran without the
and then I
apostrophe
Googled
S.
it,
Yeah.
and then.
And the same with,
Yes.
And they'll fix it.
and I think it's Packard without the apostrophe S.
I believe so. Snows without the apostrophe.
No,
Oh.
Snows does have the apostrophe S.
I don't think
It's
it
an,
does.
it's
Oh,
a-
it's
an
there on the
attributive
road.
adjective.
It's there on the road sign.
It's wrong.
And then I got out there with my chainsaw and cut. All right, any other suggestions with regard to the minutes of the 24th? Motion,
Move we approve the minutes of November 24th as amended.
Second.
all in favor?
Bye.
That's the evil eye, and I got a second right away, yeah. Okay. December 1st minutes.
My question here was that, okay, so Rich is mentioned as members of the public, but really shouldn't he still be in full members and intent and then
So
and I
I
don't know, I
do-
could be wrong.
I do
know.
have questions about, and I was like, I'm gonna ask them about them here. So when, here's my question, when the, not.
Accusal.
Applicant.
No, full members and then.
Alternate.
Alternates.
Yep.
Not apprentices. When they're sitting in the public,
They're
Yeah.
public.
they are public.
Yes.
Yes, they can be listed as alternate members in attendance. That's absolutely fine.
Right, that's where I don't know where to put them. So when they're sitting here and not here.
Yep.
Are they still?
Yes.
Even though they're not being called in the roll call?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, they're still alternates no matter what.
okay,
So this, how you listed it is totally fine.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, when Rich has recused himself, because he's recused himself sort of like from all the public hearing stuff. But are you here as public or are you here as
So
ex
the
officio?
way I approach it like today, there was more business, so I came. And then when and attended, was on the roll call, and then when it turned to the application, I recused myself.
Right,
So that should be reflected in today's
Yeah.
minutes at
So
the
he can
time.
be a full member in attendance
And then I
in the
recused.
title
because you,
and then.
you
yeah.
literally verbalized that, but I feel
Yes.
like in this meeting,
In-
you
No,
weren't,
in
you
this
were
one,
just
because
here.
this was
Okay.
the only, that was the
Yep.
second thing.
Right.
In this meeting, since it was only a public hearing, I did not
You didn't
intentionally
sit
seat
and you
myself.
didn't recuse yourself, so
No.
were you really there as a member of the public or not? And I just wasn't
Same as the
sure.
alternate,
Same thing?
Yeah.
same as the alternate.
Okay,
Yeah, however you guys wanna handle it.
If you do put him as a full member in attendance, it would have to have a note. Because if he didn't sit on the
Right.
board at all
wasn't part
that
of the
day.
roll call, he wasn't
Right.
sitting, so.
Yeah.
So you can't put, yeah. you
But
So
he
I would
was
say
here in
for
the
this
public.
is
good to have it for the public.
That way it shows I was meeting.
That's the
Yeah.
way I was thinking about
Because
it.
you're supposed to just have the 6 people anyway here, right?
Yes, yeah,
Is that
for the public hearing.
For the public
Yeah,
hearing
yeah,
and for the deliberation.
Like, do you want, would you?
yeah, listed as,
So it makes sense, would you like me when they're, alternate members present, but would you like me to put in parentheses sitting
unseated,
public, or
just non-seated,
just not seated?
or you can just
whatever, or
do
leave it?
alternate,
Okay,
just alternates,
okay,
boom, they
Members,
were there,
right after the name, just put alternate.
yeah,
while they're in the public,
Yeah,
yeah, instead, okay,
yeah.
you can do it that way.
this is new, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to.
Yeah, looking at the members of the public, Dan Gilman is listed, but Allison Gilman was also,
Was she?
Yeah,
she was with him, right next to him.
yeah.
I try to get everybody.
It's so hard. The fact that you got Barrett and Dashel on there is something too.
Okay.
Right. Any other? Did I make a motion?
I'd love to have a motion.
I move we accept the meeting minutes of Thursday, December 1st. As amended. Approved as amended.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Mr. Chair, I have a comment, please, on
First accepted, now, yes?
November 20. A little late on this comment, but I think I came in late. I was not absent.
There was one that she did noted you came in at 9:08.
I
Yeah, that
watched
was-
the video. Were
Is that
you-
the
Were you
20th?
here? I don't think you were here.
On the
20th.
I think you may
24th.
be conflating that. It is listed for you on
The
the 20,
24th, you did come in
24th.
late.
yeah,
And
there
Okay.
were so many.
line,
Wow.
line 14.
I guess
Well
so.
done, well done, Alex.
Line 14 on the 24th.
Okay. That's two.
That sounds like
Yeah,
fun,
I thought
rewatching
so.
the
I thought-
tape.
Yeah, well, I know one.
God
Put it
bless
on
you.
Austin. Can you put it on double?
What's number 1?
You're fine, don't worry.
Okay,
It's on, so.
I just don't want to get fired.
I'm gonna review your membership.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Don't worry, you're in good standing.
Okay.
Yes, right, it's the select board, it's,
Wait, what's next?
the action's over there.
We good?
Right, I didn't want to direct it directly.
But you want to.
Okay, we also take note that the River Road zoning. Liz sent a notice that in 2011, a vote was taken to rezone River Road from HDR to LDR, therefore there is no need on this again. And the mapping error then should be corrected with the whatever annual mapping updates occur. Okay, satisfactory?
Sure.
At least we don't need to deal with that one.
Either that or tear down River Road.
Make it all tiny houses.
There you go.
A what's it called? A cottage cluster?
There you go.
Yeah.
It's allowed.
Okay,
Allow that.
Right.
Are there any committee reports?
yes, committee reports, White Mountain National Forest. Who's doing that now?
So I,
You are, yes.
Mr. Chair, I don't have enough information to share at this time. May I bring that up in the January meeting?
You may.
Thank you. Move on.
We're having meetings in January after all we're doing in December.
You
I don't
better
know.
be having a meeting. Everybody. Just saying.
We could have a vote on that. Does anybody still, you're gonna be stuck in the chimney.
I told you, we're having a meeting on the 25th and we're all coming down the chimney.
Do we have a select board review, please?
So, just one point I wanted to make about the, Dave covered most of what I had. The budget hearings, we're gonna start them next week, so I just wanna get it straight in my head. The planning board's gonna be meeting on the 18th to discuss the CIPs. They have a meeting just gonna be devoted to the CIP.
Correct.
6 PM on the 18th. We're having our budget hearings on 15th, the 16th. We have our regular meeting on the 17th, and then we're meeting again on the 18th for budget hearings. So we would need the planning board to give us their recommendations on the CIP by the 19th. So that we can digest them, and somewhere before maybe the Monday the 22nd or Tuesday the 23rd, we can discuss the CIP portion. I think that's the only way it's gonna work now.
Busy,
with
yeah,
this delay.
you might get them on the night of the 18th.
Yeah,
So that's the
because,
plan. Just wanna make sure I got that right.
yeah, and it'll be working, so, we'll have the spreadsheet itself updated with the input from Dave. We'll make the edits as we go along in that meeting, so for the 19th, we should be able to say, at the end of that meeting, right, we should be able to, make the edits to the spreadsheet itself and have, the planning board agree this is final. So then, then
I agree.
you should have it,
We
okay,
should Be sealed and delivered.
makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. We'll make it
I
work.
have to run and go pick up our RSA books to be delivered to our town siting. Oh, it's a big, huge pallet.
Well,
And they will be there in about an hour and a half.
State of New Hampshire not in the digital era.
Yeah, I thought this was the paper there.
You would
This is
think.
the good old fashioned, I wonder what color they are this year. Good
Yeah.
old fashioned paper books.
Well, they had their place.
Thank you for coming,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank
Yes.
you, Liz.
Need anything? you know,
Liz,
find
we're
me.
always happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Most happy to be here.
Thanks for driving the boat.
Hey.
See you Monday.
And
So
file-
that's all I had, I think, for the select board, unless someone had any questions at this point.
Okay. Conservation,
Conservation, there's no change. We do have a meeting coming up next week. On Thursday, I believe, here.
Yeah.
So I will have information then, but again, January, I'll have that for you.
how are things with Rick Vanderpool?
Who?
He's our man.
Because of the forms that weren't not completed properly, we had to extend it into the springtime. But hopefully the springtime, that all will work itself out and we can then start the project. Anything to add to that?
That'd be good.
I think that's
Okay, CIP, we've been,
Nice.
we
You should
beat
put
that one to
planning
death.
board on the bottom.
And master plan, we've been very busy doing everything else.
There's
And
nothing.
Well, but we are, this is.
We are-
creating elements of the mess. At some point, we should go
It
to chapter
is.
8 and say, done.
our,
And we should
uh,
do it by the end of this calendar year. if we
our
have another-
our action list is actually being chewed on by all of these meetings we're having.
Yeah.
We should have a meeting, an agenda item. We should have Mr. Chair, we should have an agenda item. The end of the year would be good to show what we've done with regard to the master plan
Yep.
passing, which is chapter 8, so that we can check those off and see what needs to be on our agenda
Okay,
for 2026. So maybe, the January meeting at this time, we want to do it early, or the regular meeting in February. The earlier you can get to it to see what your work schedule is gonna look like.
okay, I'll put it on the January agenda. Right now, we're busy.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be busy in that January up until the
Yeah.
17th, I think. Anyway,
Yes,
so,
we're gonna be busy until town meeting.
Yeah,
We're busy
Uh,
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
so this idea of the, little town at the end of the road, forget that. We're as busy and as complicated as any other town or city.
Yes. Right, you could basically do like a year in review, right? Is what
well,
you're
we should go
suggesting.
back through that chapter and everything we're responsible as the primary. We could
I'll put it
determine.
on the reminder list.
Put it out for January, and then
Yes.
if it happens, it happens. If
Good.
not, you pick another date.
Okay, correspondence? We had correspondence,
I got it.
yes, and we're gonna post it.
I'll post it.
This has to do, I didn't ask you to read it into the record, but it'll be posted on the website. Because all of the content in here was actually touched upon by.
It's part of the
council-
application.
Right,
Yeah, it should have been.
but council to the selectmen
Okay.
delivered this message. Okay, that's correspondence calendar review. Well, we've been beating on this all
Yeah.
day.
Just to
Okay.
recap, so the 16th, the CIP's meeting at 5, then we have a
No,
public hearing.
no,
Yeah, no, the
Time out.
CIP.
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 CIP is the
committee.
18th.
No,
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 no.
The committee's
So,
gonna
the
meet.
committee's meeting
Just the
at
three
5
of us.
o'clock, which
Oh.
is open to whoever wants, you know. the
no,
public.
you can't have.
You don't
four.
have to go.
Well, you don't have to, but I'm just saying.
No, you
that-
can't have 4 people from the board.
That's right.
Well, that's true, to the public, I should
It's
say.
open to the,
Correct.
everything's open to.
It's open to the public, and
You
then
come
6
and sit in the
o'clock is
public.
the public hearing that night, the 16th. Then the 18th at 6
There are 2
p.m.
public hearings on the 16th.
Yep,
Well-
at 6 o'clock.
That's what you said.
Sorry.
Start at 6.
Yep,
I'm out at 6 o'clock. We're talking about, there's the public hearing regarding the parking.
Mhm.
And then there's the public hearing regarding the amendments.
Mhm.
Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I would just, I think it's an important point. It's a public hearing on the application
Yes,
that you want to center on parking, but there could still be other issues.
of course. No, because it is a public meeting.
It is
It's
a
been
public
explained to me. If it's a public
Ad
meeting,
nauseum, I know,
anybody can come. Somebody
on the application.
from South Africa could walk in here
That's
and
right.
take part in this meeting.
That's
Good.
Are you gonna invite some
I'm
people?
gonna invite some
Yeah.
people
Is that it?
from Cape Town.
So it's, anybody can talk about
So
anything.
it's to discuss that, no, it should be you can continue the public hearing for the application,
I
not,
understand.
not for anything.
No, they talk about the application, but they could, whatever they want and.
Well,
anyway,
you.
I
you can
understand.
stop
it. Look, it's a
You can
public
stop
hearing. My point is, it's a public hearing. And people from the public
Right,
can address the board.
yes.
So that we want to hear about parking because that's our primary concern with regard to this application. But they could talk about any other aspect of the application. Okay, and then we're gonna talk about the CIP.
No,
No,
I'm sorry, it's
zoning,
the
amendment.
18th.
We've got to hear.
We
what
got
the
it, no,
people
no,
say.
no, the amendments. The amendments are the second part of the public
Hear
hearing
what the
on the
people-
evening of the 16th.
Right,
And you close out the,
one public hearing,
and start another one.
I think, because it's
yeah.
2 different things. Check what
Yes.
Liz on that.
I will, but I think that's correct. I open a public hearing on the application and I can close that. And then
Or
open-
continue,
We could continue, but
but once you close it, that's.
all right,
you're done.
We got-
I'll just make a comment about practicality that we're running out of time.
No, this is not the
Okay,
place for that.
the rules are, they can have another public hearing if one is needed. And it's also true that if we go into deliberation, we can also pause deliberation and reopen public hearing. That's also true.
Theoretically.
But Liz doesn't advise to do that.
Yeah, I agree, but that's a possibility. Okay, now the next item on the agenda on our calendar is the CIP meeting on the evening of the 18th.
Yes, CIP presentation to the planning board.
Is that like a special meeting?
Yes.
That's a special
That's
meeting.
a new one.
It's a
Maybe
planning
noticed.
board meeting. Naturally, it's open to the public, but nevertheless, it's a planning board meeting that's to discuss the CIP.
So it's
That's
6
it.
P.M. on the 18th, special meeting.
Email, can we have an email on this?
And then our next planning board meeting is the 8th, correct, at 8:30? Like our regular one,
January.
Yes,
January. 8th,
January,
yep.
8th, yes.
Yep, okay.
And by then, we're well down the road to
10 days.
making a
9
decision
days.
about the application.
God help.
plenty of time.
God doesn't care about this meeting.
All right? Is there, is any other business matters that should be brought before the board at this time?
No, sir.
Can I hear a motion?
Move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Meeting adjourned.
That's not bad, 3 hours.
Could have been worse.